Hello! That is nothing phone, it's true. I almost showed you yourself, chat. Wait. Fuck. That's my wallpaper. It's Originium. Wait. Can I show you, chat? Wait. There's Cam. Oh. There, chat. Look, it's you, chat. In the reflection. Underneath the webcam. No way. No way. Oh, yeah, that's my wallpaper because it's just cool abstract art, essentially. But it gets to be Arknights related. But then it's like, you know, not an anime girl on my screen when I'm out in public. You know? Joel? No, it's not the, no, this is, I'm pretty sure this art is made by like just an artist. I found it at some point just somewhere. I have it saved somewhere. It might be, honestly, actually, it might be the specific design of the crystal might actually be from some of the very first trailers that talk about Originium. I think it's from one of the very first trailers, actually, that specific design. I didn't expect you to be an hour earlier than normal. This is normal time for Saturdays, sir. I'll have you know. Yeah, I think it's from the first concept PV, that particular design of the crystal, but then like it's, you know, been edited into a wallpaper. Where is the shot? I'm looking for it. Wait. Is it in this one? Oh, maybe it's actually the second trailer. Might actually be trailer 2. Here? Yeah. Oh, not quite. It's kind of close. This is the shot in PV2. I'm sure variety stream only Arknight. Saturday isn't necessarily variety. I don't think there's another shot of it anywhere. It's just that one. Oh, oh no, it's here. Here it is. This one. There was a second shot. So what is this text again? What does the text say? Oh, the only monster is your mind. That's a... Actually, I think it's not quite a Starset lyric. It's almost. Almost a Starset lyric. Also, I forgot to post this. I was supposed to post a short earlier today already, so I will just publish it now then. It's the one we orchestrated yesterday. Let's go watch it. I also did the trick of getting custom thumbnail on a short. Where you, whatever image you want as your thumbnail, you just put it like for one frame at the ending and then you can select it. Life hack. Oh god, it's playing already. And I found a HP bar generator. It pops up at the... Should have been a little slightly higher. It's almost bulk a little bit. And then indeed, you just flash one frame of the image at the end. Well, actually now it paused. So this is the thumbnail. I just put this image at the very end for one frame, and then it lets you select it as a thumbnail from the mobile app. Also, indeed, you can only select thumbnails for a short in YouTube mobile. Don't know what their exact idea what that was, but... You're gonna do whole ARG 1 and 2 as well, or just ARG 3 only? I was thinking of doing all of them. As long as we have the time, then I was very much thinking of just going through all of them. We can maybe go through ARG 1 and 2 slightly faster. 3 is like maybe the main one, but I feel like there's a bunch of stuff in number 2 as well. It is old hag scary face. Also, yes, if you were not if you were not on the Discord, or you don't follow me on Twitter, I did finally break and I tweeted out. Wait, I'll just pull it up. I finally broke and tweeted out, Priestess fans are the worst thing to happen to her character. I tweeted this, when did I tweet it out? 2 PM, okay? And then like a couple hours later or whatever, I came back to it. Or I went back on Twitter and I was like 10 plus notifications. I was like, ah, I see. I was like, But yeah, this was the dude who indeed fully gets what I mean. They're clearly of the same mind. They've had this same thought. Because most Priestess fans only see her as, oh my god, Menhera X, I can fix her, she can manipulate, and I'll pick the genocide route just for you, and that's it. Ideology, mystery, complexity? No. Throw that shit out. Don't need that. I hit them with the tachyon true. And then Rory real. This I knew this. Rory's Teresa's side. And then we stand with Theresa. Thing is though, I don't care about this part either. I don't care about the whole, which side do you stand on? That is completely irrelevant to me. I don't know. And then you get gonna cry and then don't care. Then that skill issue plus cope. It's like, wow, Priestess fans. I don't know why Renegade specifically screenshotted this. I don't know if he just screenshotted this, because also this was 22 minutes after I posted this, which was I posted yesterday. I replied to where was it? If I can get dude, a couple days ago. Well, because my friends who's at Gamescom, the most joyous part of Gamescom was hearing even kids wanting to play Enfield, which I replied to lock them in young. So seemingly Renegade saw that 22 minutes after it was posted and decided to just screenshot it just cuz. And he just really wanted to find, a spot to use it at. And decided to put it here. Huh, okay. Oh, Priestess's voice is Cartethia and Wuba? I haven't heard Wuba like at all, so. No hard choices in Babylonian waifu wars, clearly. And apparently, yeah, I wasn't aware that apparently it was actually a waifu war event and not about like some incredibly complex and tragic situations spanning 13,000 years of existence. But otherwise today is, yes, it's Lore Day. Children yearn to work in the factory. They do. They know what they've been, you know, made for. Their small hands are so good at the factory. They're really useful for getting into like all the gears and stuff if something's stuck, you know. They're really useful. Found friend of misery. Yeah, well, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, if a character is even a friend to someone, that's already enough for a significant amount of people to just go all in on like romantic subplots for some reason. Oh well, not for some reason. I know exactly why, but it's just like I logically know why, but I will never understand it. Is it going with CC3? I have not touched CC3 since the stream we did of it. I think I have not touched it since. What am I even looking at right now? What is my CC3 at? Oh, it's wrong size. There you go. I can still do this. Oh, actually, okay, I have 20 hours. If I want to get these points, I could do these. I guess. I missed the points on this one. And now it's just like, well, now it's just these. I put like all risks on. I was gonna like, maybe I'll do this at some point. And I just never did. Because I didn't end up doing it on stream. The only thing I'm like, I just want more of these. I kind of want points just to get the defender tokens. That's sort of all. I don't really care otherwise, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I have other things that I can use time on. I do not do a whole lot of Arknights gaming outside of stream, so. Yeah, Baka, we're probably gonna do... I'm gonna reread parts 1, 2, 3 of all the endings. So we'll do parts 1, 2, 3 of all the endings in order, and then we'll go part 4s for all the endings in order. Too busy horse gaming outside stream. To some extent, yeah. But that's mainly fucked up just because like one run still takes like... Even if you're skipping everything, a run still takes 20 to 30 minutes. So if I want to do a daily run, then that's still 20 to 30 minutes. You can kind of, you know, second monitor it, but you can't exactly do that and Arknights at the same time. You know? Well, I guess we'll probably listen to the... We'll listen to the IS5 lobby music while we're reading through the IS5 stuff. And I'm just gonna like speed read the old or the previous ending texts, because I've obviously read them before, but I want to remind myself of what exactly happened in all of them. White glimmer. What's the white glimmer again? Alright, Whiteley Glimmer is a land of laws. Right. It's one of the IS5 tracks. I have to check. Am I still actually missing? I don't think. Yeah, I'm not missing any of these. Okay. Yeah. Missing anything? I think I'm missing something from here still. Yeah. What am I missing from here? Because was there like an encounter or something for ending 2 specifically? 10 ring encounter? Clearly not, no. What's the 10 ring encounter? I'm also missing one thing, something here. I'm assuming, oh, this should be one of the... This should obviously be one of these guys. Is there a bear encounter? I have dog, I have duck. Am I just missing bear encounter? There's rat. Other duck. So presumably there's a bear encounter I haven't had for some reason. Amia. Oh, right. Yeah, the Amia statue. No, I feel like I've had that one at some point. Maybe I haven't. I've not had the Amia statue encounter. Because I know the CG, but maybe I've actually never... Look, there's this one. That's this one. There's a different one. Like, right, because these are back to back. I guess those are those ones then. It's like, what order are these encounter? Like, there's not really a specific order to these. That's like, these are, well, these are just CGs for the updates. And then at the end, you have the endings. But like, they're kind of in like order of... But I'm also missing one here as well. Between these two. So this, I mean, this is a new one. This is probably like I guess a ending 4 update encounter or something, because it's here along with these. And then just this one that this has been unlocked. Since the start. I think this one has been here. I think it's if there is a bear encounter, then I see that one. Those ones. This is just after this encounter? Isn't this encounter... Wait, is this encounter part of ending 2? Isn't it? I think it is. Which is why I just assumed it was somehow ending 2 related. Maybe I can find it on the wiki. Skip to F5? Really? Integrated strategies. I should have just put Sarka's Furnace Side Fables instead. Sarka's Furnace Side Fables. There's nodes. Encounters. Let's see if we saw an image that we don't recognize. Okay, well, okay, so right, I'm missing some of these. I'm missing because it's the Easter egg thingy for ending 5. So that's one of them that I'm missing. Extra anyone? There's a Gopnik leaning on walls. Oh, so yeah. So that's just for some reason I've just never gotten the Gopnik one. Is it an encounter or is it a different node? Because if it's a different node, then that might explain why I haven't seen it. Yeah, shifting city. Shortcut, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. It's just a random encounter. It's just a random encounter that I've never gotten. But I guess it's because I take encounters so rarely in IS5. So then, like... You can gain a lingerer, this funny lingerer, which I probably actually never also had this lingerer if you mainly get it from here, the lead tag. Yeah, it's this thing, yeah. And this Gopnik, which is also just random encounter. I've just never get it. I've never found. Yeah, I guess it is blueprint symptom of just re-rolling encounters. But frankly, just in general, if you're re-rolling any nodes, it's pretty often you're gonna re-roll an encounter because there's just not that many valuable encounters. It feels. There was more, obviously, when you were early on when it still was new. You'd chase for like the king's encounter, but then after that, and then this is another one I don't have. Okay, this is the other one that I don't have, which is also just a random encounter. So they're all just random encounters that I have not found. Bane of Hatred. Oh, if deathmatch is using a perfect clear, obtain a deathmatch after the battle. Oh, that's interesting. Kind of funny. I think it's those. It's those 3. They're all just random encounters that I've never bumped into. And then there's some downtime recreation, which I think downtime, I guess I found all the downtime ones. Unless maybe I don't have this one. I might actually have not this one, possibly. This one I've had, this one I've had. Also found, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But I think it's just those three. I've never gone this encounter. Never got this encounter. And I've never gone this one, I think. I think those are the only ones that I recognize as I have not seen. And I guess this isn't part of the CGs for encounters. So, then it's different. Because obviously it's just the ones that are CGs. Interesting. Do not know why. Well, yeah. No, I mean, I know why. I never take encounters. That's why. Or do we maybe go through these first? But I have not read Surtur or Logos. Game sound, please. Thank you. Actually, should we choose a music? Oh, this is a pretty good one. Oh yeah, this is just like the mappy music. Also one called Tech Adaptation, okay. Interesting. The boss musics are maybe a little bit aggressive for reading lore. Yep, we're done with all 5 endings, yep. Actually, never mind. Yeah, this is just the... We'll put this one on. This is the appropriate one to put on when we're gonna focus on the ending 5 lore. The spooky tomb, but it's also like at the same time it's really like quite pretty. Right, and is next month, is the September update the last one, or is there one more month after September? Because next update, I think we go to 155. I mean, I can just check from... Dumb. I can check from here. No, not here. Here. Okay, no, there's 2 months. Because this is 6, this is 7. Okay, there's 8 and 9 still. And I guess, yeah, there's also the arrows here. Now, this one we have already. And then there's this one. This mysterious icon. Then it goes back to the start. But there should be 9 monthly squads, right? Should there not be? Shouldn't there be 9 monthly squads? Or we're only at 7 right now? Hello, hello.
Oh my god!
Hey, thank you, Loverboy, for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Welcome, raiders. The boys are here. Welcome, boys. How are you, raiders? How was your stream, Level Boy? We're just getting ready to start reading. With our spooky music. Banana 3 has gone to 170, rest stop at 135. Okay, I just thought that would be 1 more month. Because I thought there would be 9 monthly squads, but... Just be 310? Ah, welcome to the game. Hope you've had fun so far. We are quite a bit further in than 310. So there may be a spoiler warning if there's any other newbies in the raid and you don't want to see some later roguelike lore stuff, then there may be dangers ahead. Finger crossed they don't delay IS6. I think that, well, that just really depends on the schedule that they end up with. Because the one reason that they were delayed IS5 was because of schedule whack stuff. But they seem to be trying, because now they're going a lot faster. So they shouldn't have like weird scheduling issues. Skip the story, I was told to say this. Who told you to say this? Shaking my head. Who told you to skip? We're readers here. Story enjoyers. Oh, Chimpolite? I recognize that name. Shaking my head? Shaking my head? Also, I just realized I need to move to the other side. We need to move over here because all the text is on the right once we start reading. 5-head Terra historian here. Especially once we get the Terra history book. Never, by the way. Still waiting for them to actually say that it's purchasable. Okay, you watched the anime. That's fair enough. If you watch the anime, then especially some of the early story, it's reasonable to skip. I would recommend reading from at least like chapter 6 or 5-ish. If you don't hate reading, then I would say at least chapter 6 do actually also read. But for example, season 1, everything that season 1 covers, which is to the start of, or to the end of chapter 3, I think it's fine. Vocalizing shaking my head but not shaking one's head. Well, because if I shake it, then it's like shaking my head. As he does it, extremely exaggerated so that it like tries to prove his point, which probably still didn't work. Chapter 4 onward is even better, yes. But like if I had to choose a chapter that like it was like read from here at least, it would be chapter 6. Just because chapter 6 starts being where the anime really does have to cut out a lot of stuff just because of time limits. Though also chapter 5 is not adapted fantastically in the anime. Which is another thing to consider. Anyway. Beat CC3 with max risk already? When did you start? Oh wait, I mean I was gonna say that's insane. Not to make light of your achievement, but it is the current CC where the tornado can do a lot of your work. And yeah, if you borrow a good unit as well, then also, yeah, max risk or indeed, yeah, 620 or 600. There's a difference between max risk for rewards and actual max risk. If you're not aware. I lost the ability to think. I usually lose the ability to think when I start an attempt at CC, so... I'm trying to think of if do I remind myself of all the story bits first and then read everything else? Maybe we do, I'll do a quick read through of 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Then we'll do the monthly squad ones that I haven't read. And then do the ending 5 readings. That might be the one that makes the most sense. And also, yeah, indeed, good thing that I switched to over here, because I'd be covering the text otherwise. Yeah, I'm not going to read these out loud, probably. I'm just going to, like, quickly speed read through some of these 1, 2, 3s for the First endings. Alright, have a good bed. Have a good bed. Thanks for the raid. I kind of remember everything that happens in ending 1. Demanding stories all the time. Furnace syndrome patients. They did indeed, yeah, they did get the furnace syndrome. And then, yeah, then we have the Tin Man bits. Mini soul furnace embroidered on the chest. Box of potato fries sculpt using scrap for the great furnace. Going back to Colombia. Tin friends. Yeah, this is also the part where indeed where we see Callisis kind of trying or doing some stuff for the Noxeras post, like chapter 14. And they're trying to, you know, like they're actually treating like, oh, they're rotting skin. Potatoes. And Paul is Mittem. Mortality rates were down, no way. Yeah, Kalisa did go to IS4, which is a funny idea. Also, yeah, a lot of IS4 stuff happens indeed post all this. I mean, so does IS3 stuff, so, you know. Potato chip bags. Cilantro flavored yogurt. Oh yeah, Big Larry. His hole, not his hole. I'm wondering what exactly. I wonder what the original text was here, because like I feel like this is a very English specific, you know, type of thing. Hole and hole. I'm assuming there was some other joke here originally. Hi, Talos. Should be funny in the front. Hot dog, so true. The donut, the cheeseburger. Yeah, this is the Little tin boys just being little shits. The one on her shoulder. Running full size and live music at the radio station when you're jarring. 150 gold certificates deducted from your pocket money. The other was just an reference, but I thought it came to me when I said the burgers on Friday. You wanted to share everything bright and beautiful and see a touch for you. Compensation? No, you're nothing, but you deserve it. Only as though it's your first time, try to do it differently. So I said back then I waited a long time, but you three were the only ones who came out of the furnace last tin, and I don't know if you understood or not. I'm not that dumb. You might be, though. For the radio. Cilantron medal. Take the store in a few days interest. There's half gold certificate per day. Old coiners back towards it. 200 cleaning fees though, and there's interest on that too. Cesspool. The little goobers. Tin goobers. They made bad apple in Noita. I like how I say Noita as the Anglophones say it when it's a Finnish word. But I'm speaking English, so then I end up saying it like an Anglophone. Like in English. Shaking my head. Well, I'm just reminding myself of what happens in part 1, 2, 3 of the endings. Because then we do ending 5, 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do part 4 for all of them in order. Because that's how they're released. We're essentially just doing release order. Because normally you would unlock ending 5. Well, you'd already unlocked all of these, and then you unlock ending 5, 1, 2, 3. And then you have to unlock part 4s for all of them separately. So I'm just reminding myself of what happens in all the other ones. Summarizing the recorder from the labels. I want to see the hottest fashion from Sarkis spells explained. Organizes workers discuss with the children of science on how to conduct the fun organization. Group of workers have ended the shift, changing the fresh clothes before muddling the crowd of visitors to view the exhibition. Sarkis are not everyone to the ticket in hand and no discrimination in sight. The exhibitors bears glass security guards accompany each display with their back straight. Some crude and mysterious ritual instruments are on display. Or witchcraft reinforced glass for tourists from all over the land to see. Oh, the gift shop. Exact fragrance the Lord of Banshees uses. P&E Wendigos. Source of all the artificial water charms in Castle continues to nourish the city. As from her bed recalling the scenes from before, that she saw right before she lost consciousness, cast over the castle nighted by her and companions. One looks out the window, part of the region just mixing with the morning mist, and she can only make out a yellowish brown skyline of dilapidated building in the distance and intermittent shining of faraway Sarkis workers. Amimi! I mean, Nymph does have a lot of hair to sort out. Yeah, because indeed she gets pulled out of the this ending. Start with the Amia from inside the story. Do I need to? I'm actually need to remind myself what this ending is as well. I'll just go through it real quick. Or how exactly it went. Because I haven't read it in fucking, Jesus Christ, probably half a year almost. Look at all that hair. That's a lot to comb. Yeah, Amia fucking came out of her head. But yeah, because in this storyline, this was what happened. Dimensional crown touching. Also, I do the Kings had never imagined burning Amia with this, which I feel it just says a lot about what ended up happening in our timeline. Where in this one they had never even imagined the idea of putting in an Amia. And then they were, you know, in our timeline, Teresa was forced to. She's dying, she's dying, she's dying. Just go beep, 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 beep. Oh right, oh right, yeah, because they use the previous Amia sprite for this one. I'm guessing to avoid spoilers. You know, I'm not even. I guess so. Even though IS5 Lore, you know, releases after Chapter 14. But I guess for people who haven't got to Chapter 14 yet, but yeah, they use the older sprite. Beep. Yeah, but if the beeping is getting faster, it's usually not the best sign. Just getting much slower isn't great either. So we didn't check to go. Okay, yeah, this is going through this part, yeah. So already tried to assassinate her. I made it to 2 more decades. Civilite Eterna. Also, because they also still talk about Civilite Eterna in the ending text, but then they don't use, you know, the medic army sprite for whatever reason. It's like, okay. Oh, right. Okay, yep, this part, yeah. Can't keep running it 24/7. Burn dresses in the washing machine. Oh yeah, here we also get Oracle. So they believed. Where is Priestess? Which is also the first thing that Doctor says in our timeline. I'm wondering what part 4 says for this, because obviously you can here you read into this and it's like, oh fuck, did they like fuck themselves? I mean, you know, with the way Terra was going just on its own, it's not like they weren't fucked anyway, but you know. So I'm really interested in what part 4 says. We'll remind ourselves of this as well. And once we remind ourselves of this part, we'll go do the monthly squads really quickly, just because, you know, they're less big. Big guy. Patrioto. Mr. Patriot. Presumably a very intentional parallel to the CG with Armia and Patriot. Which I probably said the first time I saw this as well. Also the halo starting to appear on Nim's head. And then Angry Cat. In the skin that we will never get. Join my Discord. Oh no! The Teak has a Discord. Well, there's the ancient and fallen angels. This line is also just like, what the fuck? The unsullied TKs from being tarnished by the law. It just ends there. It literally ends on like a cliffhanger. Then it's like, well, I mean, go and read these, but massive showers as well. There's so many events which just like can't come sooner. Ungroomed, tarnished. No way, Elden Ring, the tarnished. The untarnished corridor. This name, man. Why would you name your kid this? Okay, why would you name your kid this? Insane. Should have been in the spelling bee. Thank God I wasn't. Bulldog's T was already like somewhat difficult enough. Where does it say it? How exactly is it typed again? I can't find it right now. I'll see it. There, Bulldog's. And then apostrophe T. It Hebrew. Yeah, and Hebrew is fucked up, what can I say? Many languages in this world are fucked up. Also, there is a very specific type of brain worm that I have, which maybe I can infect all of you with as well. Every time I read the word acquiesced, this one right here, I instantly think of the Lone Trail trailer, the 3D trailer for Lone Trail, where in the speech, Kristen says acquiesced. This is like instant neuron activation. I don't remember that. Shaking my head, go look at the trailer again. It's a good trailer. Her speech goes hard. Not feeling the cinema. Actually, time skip because now, you know, situation's different. Crystals forming. Wish I could set the speed to 1.5 speed when I was live. I mean, technically you can. Then it just means you don't fall behind, I believe. It speeds up whenever you fall behind a little bit. Do. Also, well, this just just because the specific description of the sickle-shaped claws. So, like, you know, is this why Monster has the long sleeves design, where she has like the over big sleeves that then kind of droop down because it's almost like, you know, sickle-shaped claws. Inspired. Whoa, no way. The details. Just casually catching ammo behind his back, you know? Pink-haired Tikers. Monster design inspired by monster design. I know, right? Crazy how they did that. I do just wonder exactly how long ago did they have the decision of what they're turning Monster into, though? You know? Because, as we know, to most people out there, humanoid Monster came out as a very strange surprise, and it's like, what the fuck, why? Which is like, I can understand very easily. I mean, it was a surprise even to me, somewhat, so. And also, yes, somewhat like the specific characteristics of what Monster turned out to be in humanoid form was also maybe a bit of a surprise. So no, because that's the thing. Really, for example, for people who really do like read all the stuff and whatnot, it actually wasn't like a massive surprise. It was like, oh, okay, they actually did go that route. Part of the reason why it was so surprising, even to people who read lore and read story and everything, was just how soon it came around. Because it was pretty much like Bobble chapter 14 was when we truly had a decent guess of like, oh, they might do this with Monster later on. And then literally the next main story chapter, it happens. And we were like, what the fuck, really? Huh? It's like, oh, they did it already? And then you can kind of, in hindsight, go look at some other stuff that they had done, especially during chapter 14 and some other stuff. You can see like, oh, okay, yeah, I see now. For example, for just of like a little bit of like how Monster acts and so on, like the actual characterization, essentially. Do. Trying to wholeheartedly harm a fellow T-Kaz, and it's the Pope. What was allocution again? I'm pretty sure I googled this the first time I read this as well. Formal and authoritative speech, an address. Makes sense. Checks out. This insane side of you. Mania. Yeah, this is the whole thing where they become like aware of our timeline. I'm like, hey, we gotta go like colonize that place. Ragdoll her. I really wish they put the Twitter stuff in game though. The Celtic Monster one is pretty huge, yep. And it isn't just like in a tweet. But then then we have also like entire ARGs and stuff. It's not like they've it's not like they've never done it before where there is some content that is just out of the game. And it's also like how exactly would they put it in game? I don't know. I guess they could have been like little pages of lore you unlock while doing content, I guess. Plagiarized Celtic art moment? What was that one? Oh, yeah, where yeah. Where people found Lowlight's old art of his first OC Celtic and were like, oh my god, did did Lowlight... They stole this guy's art for Keltsit. That shit was funny. I think it's not even the first time it's happened. So, like, it truly is. Storyteller records. Yep, we have not read logos. I think. I believe so. Light has long since left, driven by a single desire to survive. The concept of hatred has been eradicated. From the surface, all life on Terra begins to die. Desperate, its dwellers dig deeper in search of an escape. They know that if they burrow too far, liquid fire will erupt and consume them alive, but they no longer care. Their instinct to live commands them, and they will blindly follow it until they waste away in futility and agony. Ethan wraps his tattered clothes tight around himself as he ascends the staircase. His footsteps echo softly, leaving a long trail in the dust. Behind him, another figure follows like a shadow. Together, the duo makes their long climb to the surface. The air changes from warm to stifling to devoid of all life. The Singer of Death wishes to sing one final song for himself, and his companion hopes to hear this melody. And so the two madmen form an ill-fated alliance in their march towards oblivion. Their wishes will soon be granted. During their last rest, the Banshee and his Sarka's companion sit together and use their remaining light source. With the flickering glow, the Banshee sees his companion for what may be the final time. He's cut off his horns and wrapped himself heavily in bandages. The lenses of his sunglasses have shattered, leaving only the frame. Comical sight. Weapons are useless in this dying world, so he discarded his sniper crossbow, keeping only its aiming scope to better observe the approach of death. In the eyes of his companion, the Banshee fares no better. His ear tufts have transformed into a helmet of sorts. His body is almost entirely covered in originium, as if he might crumble into dust at any moment. At this point, it is neither his brain nor heart that keeps him alive, but the very originium consuming him. Neither of them speaks, they simply look at each other, then at the light. Flickers, shimmers, and finally goes out. As the last two afterimage from the vanishes from their retinas, two hands, one wrapped in bandages, the other covered in originium, clasp together. They help each other up and stumble onward. Hours or days could have passed, but the road gradually grows more even. Their eyes see only darkness, their ears hear only the hollow echo of death, and they feel nothing at all. The Banshee takes a step back, unsure if his companion is still there. There's no one behind him. Is he still waiting, or has he left? Ethan does not know. He can feel what little parts of his body that are still flesh crystallize, and so he sings the song of the Banshee. A stream of air travels out of his depleted lungs, past his vocal cords and through his crystallized lips. Sweeps past the lens still clutched in his companion's hand, carries away the remaining heat of the dying planet, and drifts into the dark nothingness that has long remained still. At this moment, matter ceases to exist. Only the lingering voice of a man echoes in the silence. Listen, this is the song of Afanil. Oh yeah, it is Scout. I was wondering who the Sarkas was. It would be Scout, or Sniper. Scout Scope. Cool, you know, yep, well taken over by Originium. University of Kasdal offers an unusual course in Originium arts with a specific focus on singing arts. Professor Afanil of the Banshee Court is an expert in the field, and thanks to his painstaking efforts in disassembling, recombining, and defining ancient Sarkas incantations, the basics of these esoteric techniques, once limited to the Banshees, can now be learned by anyone. Before class begins, Afanil includes a hidden pre-lesson test in his greetings to all the students, as usual. Those who fail to recognize it for what it is and respond with a specific syllable are struck by a temporary curse, forcing them to raise their hands for a minute. During this time, his aides distribute the day's teaching materials. What kind of song is a Banshee's song, really? It is no doubt a topic of great interest to the students, Sarkas and non-Sarkas alike. Afanil uses his bone pen to write on the blackboard in mid-air while demonstrating an ancient tune. At first, the song is soundless. He sings a short passage, then stops, avoiding harming the students with sound waves they cannot hear. This is a song exclusive to the Banshees, used to call friends to their side while hunting and slaying prey. When the Banshees joined the ranks of the Tikas, their song changed with them. They invented a peculiar rhythm somewhere between weeping and a shriek. They joined the ranks of the Tikas. So they were somewhat separate at first. They made a peculiar rhythm somewhere between weeping and a shriek. From that moment on, death constructed from speech and script became reality. Upon hearing this noise, all living would know the knell had been sounded. The Banshee's song has gone through long periods of evolution and research since then, giving rise to a diverse variety of forms. Afanil clears his throat and demonstrates several of them. A piercing whistle that can penetrate skulls, a deep and mellow sleep-talking, barely audible murmuring, and a soothing, captivating melody. Every banshee is a master of their particular meter and mode, and the elegiac chord of old is now as bright and beautiful as the convalescence they dwell in. When the lesson is over, Ethan returned to his office, where his apprentice has been waiting for him. She's here to say goodbye. After 3 years of studies, her thesis on the link between singing arts and modern medical techniques was noticed by Bobble. She's about to embark on a journey, starting the next chapter of her life as a reserve operator. Before she leaves, her teacher has a gift for her. The Banshee bids his apprentice stand in front of a wall, covered in symbols. This is his most important lesson, the Banshee score known as the Guide. Whenever a student completes their studies and leaves campus for the last time, he sings this song for them. The office is dead silent. Taking a deep breath, a low melody resonates from his nasal cavity. It repeats a few times and is joined by his voice flowing from his throat. He brandishes his bone pen, circling his student with it 2.5 times. Once he sings the final symbol on the wall, the guide is finally concluded. The student sees it as no more than her teacher's farewell ceremony and moves to express her gratitude. However, when she opens her mouth, her words become song, and a symbol lights up on the score. Nathan immediately steps forward and marks it. From now on, this is your symbol. With the wave of his bone pen, several other marked symbols change color. It's clear her seniors had also been subject to this prank from their teacher. I've been learning under your guidance for so many years, Professor. Why have you never told me how this works? Upon hearing his students grumbling, Afinal feels a slight tug at the corner of his mouth. This is a Banshee song, and if you understood every symbol, you would not be able to sing it. Besides, it is not yet complete. Doubt clouds his student's face. She can hardly believe that her advisor, one who has reached the pinnacle of both arts and song, would be willing to show others an incomplete work. Don't get me wrong, I've already pushed my Banshee techniques as far as they can go for this, but this is a song that points the way. With only one voice, it cannot be considered complete. Please remember that symbol. Afinal repeats its pronunciation. And once his student commits it to memory, he continues. Turn it into your song, that is my request. When the land has no need of us, you will sing it unbidden. No, when the land has need of us, you will sing it unbidden. It is a song that resonates between all life. Part 3. He doesn't remember who he is, nor from whence he came. He simply wanders endlessly through his silent, colorless, unresponsive and empty world. Bewildered, confused. But that is only natural, as meaning has yet to form. Then, out of nowhere, comes a sigh. Wind blows past him, fading as quickly as it arrived. He remembers the rippling of his skin in the wind. He remembers direction. Steps forward towards the change. He hears a voice for the first time. In the place he cannot reach, the place that seems to be called the sky, is a faint murmuring. It is indistinct, but he can tell that the voices are many. He wants to hear them with clarity, so he continues walking towards them. From massive murmurs to whispers, the voices get clearer. He feels something under his feet. There's now a clear boundary between black and grey. It is at this moment that he senses himself stepping on that boundary. One further step and we will fall into that familiar black chaos. The grey expanse behind him is the road he has just walked. Familiarity, safety, these concepts make him stop going further. Perhaps soon enough he will return to his wandering. The voices in the sky become falling snowflakes, the delicate whiteness building a broken bridge at the boundary. Color urges him onwards, the unknown at the end of the bridge bids him to stop. As he hesitates, the hum of the snowflakes becomes speech. Go, go. Even if you fall into the abyss, I will be with you. Companionship. This new concept gives him courage, and he walks atop the broken bridge of snow. With every step, the road behind him collapses in a cacophony. Ahead, a thin layer of ice forms. With every step, the voice grows clearer. It is not the voice of another, it is his own. As he breathes, his heart pulses, beating like a drum. With every stride, his surroundings grow brighter. The color is less muted, and more of his self appears. He runs until the dark is left behind him. A wall shakes the universe. The baby's out, look at him, Aline. It's a boy. It was just him. It was him getting born. We literally just get a story of Logos being born. No way. Actual creation. There was the bridge across death and life. Why did they put it in across death and life instead of life and death? Usually it's life and death. The POV. The road home is the same that takes you away. The route to far will too bring you back. Red woman from Enfield? Yeah, what the hell? What's she doing here? Surtur edges toward the furnace. The rodents keep whispering in her ear like unfamiliar distant relatives, but she pays no attention to any of it. There's a memory coming from the city called Kazdel, the daughter of a Kazdelian war machine engineer. The only thing Surtur remembers is a girl with a bruised face sitting on her bed, slowly eating what little food she had managed to snatch that day. There's a tattered photo frame by the bed. The man and the woman in the photo are all smiles and happiness, but the girl is not in it. The girl carefully chews on her food like a small animal. She looks back and forth between the door and the window, on alert for anyone who might try to take her food. But never once does she look in the direction of the photo. Outside the door is Kazdel. I heard I could find a bunch of old ghosts here, who might know what I'm looking for. Surtur raises her head and speaks to the revenants. Hey, is there anyone home? It's been a while since once this rude showed up. Did no one ever teach you to respect your ancestors, girl? Are we related? I haven't the faintest idea who you are. I don't even know if I was born here. Why would you think we would tell you what you want to know? Surtur frowns. Old sack of bones. If you do not know, then just say so. Now excuse me. Just a moment, young lady. We might not have many bones here, but meeting someone with a spine isn't so bad once in a while. Monster reference? Tell us something, your past, a story you like, or even something you made up just now. If it satisfies us, we might tell you something that only your ancestors would know. I don't know any stories. You have an imagination, don't you? Use it. I'm not sure she does. May I tell you a story of how I'm actually a Sarkis king who has defeated 100 flying super monsters? Of course! Yo, Pog! Epic story? Flying super monsters. Also, Surtur, you can't hit air, you silly woman. The girl's parents spent all their days and nights buried in their research. They never told anyone that they had a daughter. They had everything that could possibly let the secret out. They tried to quietly sneak her out of Kazdel. In those sleepless times, they stole a high-powered Originium fragment from the labs and other war machine parts, completing a tiny vehicle just as the war began. The girl who no one knew about was sent to a faraway land. Her parents knew that an unfamiliar foreign country was perhaps no less dangerous than Kazdel as it descended into chaos. But they placed what little hopes they had on it, hoping that the girl would live. It was true that life outside Kazdel was not necessarily better than life inside. The girl found herself set upon by refugees who were after the roots she had spent so much effort digging up. They recounted the sins of the Sarkas, justifying their actions with their words. First they muttered, then they yelled, finally chasing the girl with steel rods and rocks. She fled back to her dwelling, the little shelter her parents had built for her. But this time, she was not so lucky. They found the dilapidated hut she was hiding in. Her arms and legs injured, the girl stumbled and fell. The refugees surrounded the house with great effort. The girl managed to climb into the damaged vehicle. In this final refugee her parents had left her, she picked up whatever she could reach and threw it at the oncoming refugees. She threw the control stick, the instrument panel, piece of metal she never learned the purpose of. Seeing a rock that was turning fiery red, she picked it up and tried to throw it. But the rock dug itself into her palm, and she fainted at the scorching pain. She woke up at Rhodes Island, her injuries treated. Later, she had a chance to read the record of her rescue from a neuroscience village that had been hit by catastrophe. The catastrophe had erupted as lava from beneath the ground, and Surtur was the only survivor. She told the Rhodes Island operators that she was not one of the villagers, but had only been passing through. She knew nothing else. She did not know who she was or where she came from. She did not know that beneath the rubble of the ruined hut, now buried in lava, the only drawing of the family of 3 that her parents had left behind was now burned to ashes. Actual Surtur lore? Like, I mean, especially for the level of lore that Surtur usually gets, the magnitude of this is massive. I did wait 22 days to read this. It's true. I think I just forgot to read it. Whenever we unlocked it, I just forgot to read it there. She got some lore in IS4, but in IS4, it was lore about, like, you know, the Farenmut and their relation, you know, Surtur and the Farenmut and so on. That was the lore that we learned. We learned that, yes, indeed, it's the Farenmut fucking around with her. But now it's, like, actual knowledge about who she was before that. And Dried Amanda, she had parents? No way. She's also apparently not, like, giga old. Or anything like that. You know, she hasn't been wandering around for 1,000 years or some shit. She's like normal age. Just possessed by a red rock. Where the fuck did that red rock come from, though? How unfortunate. And thus Surtur defeated all the creatures opposing her and became Lord of all Terra. How about that? Come on, that's way too fake. How is that my problem? No, no need to get violent. You did take the effort to come up with that for us. The least us old bones could do now is answer your questions. You're Sarkis who came from the outside. I'm sure you're looking for your true home. The bright red head of yours is hard to forget. Maybe it'll jog our memories. Surtur's face is completely impassive. What I wanted to ask is if there really is an ice cream furnace here. Huh? Candy and ice cream furnace. Yes or no? Of course. Surtur walks out of the furnace, angrily, slightly disappointed at both the furnace and herself. She had gone into the habit of eating ice cream even though she hated sweets, and was all the fault of the one inside her. As for her home, in fact, Surtur had found the house in her memories soon after arriving in Kasdal. The bed was broken, and badly damaged shelves and tables were scattered across the floor. But there was no mistake, this was the room. She sat down in the same place she was sitting in her memories. Maybe this really was her home. Didn't feel like it, or maybe it did. Felt like it, or maybe it didn't. She was surprised that it failed to elicit any reaction from her at all. It was no different from any of the other scenes in her memories she had visited. She never once looked at the photo before she left. She's more concerned with where she can buy ice cream, where the next stop on her journey will be, and when she will be heading back to Rhodes Island. She looks around. She rather likes this castle, this unfamiliar vitality. People hurrying around, delivering goods, doing business, bargaining, brawling, getting drunk. She sees a drunk man lying sprawled out on the ground, babbling unintelligibly but with a certain rhythm to it. She walks up to him and kicks him slightly lightly. Hey, wake up. Drunk man rolls over and ignores her. Where do you live? Sure I could bother a lich or someone from the military commission to help you find your way home. Home? This is my home. Leave me alone. I like sleeping here. Is your idea of a joke? Surtur gets a passerby to help the man and stomps away angrily. Although on a second thought, what he said made a certain sense. A place you can always return to no matter how long you've been away. A place that will accept you no matter what you have become. A place that does not try to bind you to it but is simply there. What is that if not home? At this, Surtur declares herself that she will continue her travels. It is more entertaining to seek out good food and to inflict violence on those who deserve it. No more searching for the past. Well, it doesn't seem like her past was terribly complicated. You know? There maybe wasn't that much past it, you know, to uncover it after all. She just touched the wrong rock. And also that rock might have saved her life. You know. Is that as well? Take my can away. Just realized I forgot to turn on some of the lights in my room. Stalling? What do you mean? I hadn't read those. It's not stalling. This is proper preparation for reading the rest of the stuff. Shaking my head. Also, I actually forgot to read this one. I forgot to read this one. I forgot about ending 4. I just straight up forgot about it. Yeah, I guess I mean, now we pretty much know, kind of, frankly, yeah, all there is to know about Surtur. It's not a huge amount there. It's fairly simple in the end. And I guess Surtur likes, however, Surtur, the Fairmood, likes just like taking people over or whatever. Because, I mean, the whole thing with Surtur was as well that obviously there's like a bunch of memories all like jumbled up. So clearly there's like others there as well. Stolen Knights. On an occasion, she stops to come to Thailand. Often gets startled by the thunder and needs some time to get used to the environment. She's honest to find plenty of other travels on the path to Oasis, Longhorned Anasa, as well as other races, all whom seem to pay the local thunderstorms no mind. They really put a fucking M dash and, you know, like M dash into also hyphen, so that it's like extra confusing. Where it's Oasis Longhorned. Not Oasis, pause, Longhorned. Item points to the roadside mountain. She noticed after some scrutinizing several holes in its side. There seems to be windows, but no door. Those are going to run out of their catchers, but don't see any doors. Why would a window not serve as such? Wouldn't they smash for catastrophes? You want to head to Gut City as outer reaches by turning thought to word. So why does your common sense still doubt these windows? Roger calmly takes over the role of asking questions. Thunder does not wait for the line to reply before coming to a sudden stop and silence him up the Oasis instantly. Just named Wage, unsure how to react, a bell rings from afar. The Isabel, apparently familiar with the simple and dull metal-born sound. So there's no bells in Castle, she would have found it familiar. Then she finds herself back to the furnace ceremony, exchanging equally surprised looks of her companions. Revenants seem to be talking privately with each other from their tiny pockets of muddled yet intense conversations, their whispers echoing in her ears. Mantra looks closer and she lifts her arm. She was an urge to blink, her eyelids right about to fall shut. Half second of darkness and she finds herself back before the line. There are no traces of her companions. From the peak of Mount Aeneas to the heart of Lake Hyperion sit numerous monasteries of those without roots. They work when their bells ring and rest otherwise. Bells seem to originate from the source of all things, and their rings resonate through eternity, beckoning all those seeking westward to turn back and ordering those sweeping eastward to lay down their arms. And thus Victoria and Castle have enjoyed a long period of peace. The lines of narration doesn't seem to have been interrupted, but it realizes the speaker had been waiting for her to return before continuing the tale. Now the Castle of Old has become the city of today. They struck a promise through the sound of the bells of Lokadhatu, the land where it resides. Likewise, we have drawn a line in the sand to find how we should act with the Victorians, just like we have with Yan. Even for the speaker's wide eyes fixate on her. Even now, the Anasa's great bells does not sense you back. You once claimed yourself to be the Dial Nymph. Do you still remain the same? Yep, that's me. Nymph says that the line expression shifts just slightly, but she's unable to make out exactly on the one to use her ability to understand. Dharmas exist without adapting to Nidanas, and so will never be lost within illusions. I love my Sanskrit words. John Nymph, it seems regardless of the chain of causation, you can enter Nagara Katsiria. Follow me. Your story is yet to end, and I have more stories to tell as well. The Anasa share linguistic similarities with the Sarkas, but there are plenty of differences. For example, they call this great hand Lokadhatu, and city is Nagara. Nagara Katsiria in the Anasa language means city of Castle. As with many cities with Kurtz, the largest and most important is the Saint of Victoria. Fucking Anasa Road. Silk Road? Good to be following the cruise rate every day. Consider being the core and starting point of this meeting. Permanent percentage population has fallen and become one of the largest metropolis in Eastern Terra. Orderly and tranquil land is in reality a bustling city. Cloud covered with ramps are placed available, and those who step onto these platforms entered by the wise silk wielding. Immediate harders will find themselves on the other side before they know it, not the slightest bit winded. Huge city walls planned by the general of soil and stone in days past still remain in covered lush plants. Most cities would maintain the newly constructed aerial plates. Fire Dharmapalas, born of huge horns, patrol everywhere in the city, Diablos. Main job is no longer maintaining public order, they ensure fire safety in the city, answering inquiries from tourists, and also put on fierce faces they pose for photos together with children. Planes are liberated enter and exit cars parked outside the city and its connected platforms, a melting pot of races with various ears and horns live and work to the city. Vihara situated in higher grounds, collect with halos and monks with black rings behind their head debate on the fine distinction between Lateran law and Nasa doctrine. Regular Nasa, together with people of race, make up the device population. Most only where it exists and have heard the bell but never actually seen it in person. Done if you know the city bell tower familiar. Like Castle Soul Furnace. To my knowledge, the castle of the past never built anything with such a name. They also built the bell towers that you see before and has always been a bell tower. This is always in line, walks forward while Nymph follows behind with small quick steps. Do you recognize these statues? Empty square paved with only brick and stone, the usual greeting one can see everywhere in the city is nowhere to be found. Four towering white statues stand within, their expressions peacefully directed towards the bare ground. They look familiar, but it's just not coming to mind. All four kings of old from before their Nasa became enlightened. All four? In other words, the sculpture took the four kings of Sarkas. Parchaser and three successors. Ulu the Sikimator, Balarsaka the Sun Wielder, and... She had heard the lion's name back when she first entered this illusory plane, but now only remembers its significance. Quilon, the wrathful cerulean flame. Me. The lion stops in his tracks and looks at the statues, speaking with the same calm tone as when he had first introduced himself by the riverbank with the weeping willows. Black crown appears atop his head. Nymph knows what it means. This crown has nothing to do with the story I wish to tell, but I know you're curious about it. Ask away. Where I come from, there's a story called The Firestar's Betrayal, which tells of 3 successors to the King of Starkers used to be friends and betrayed and killed each other. It tells in line the stories of the Quilon she knows, which luckily I've gone to read through translations of the lore book already. Such a decent incident occurred in this very realm. Lion listens to the entirety of Nim's tale before pointing to his crown as if thinking about something. The two involved are in here too. I confirm in their stead that most of her tale stands true. He pauses and then laughs heartily. Arasaka wants to clarify that he later regretted his impulsiveness and hopes his foreign compatriots do not regard him as an unrepentant, jealous, and irascible Diablo. We might. Let's be honest, he has always been all of that, and there's no need for your amend his reputation. They're very good friends, I see. But that's exactly how it happens, so you should let others know that Diablo acknowledges his error but does not regret his actions. The lion's smiles drop slightly and he continues with a gentle tone. All in the past, all bygones the moment each of us wore this crown. We later freed from it, but I was the last of us standing, so due to karma, it remains on my head. However, it allows me to realize my ideals, to carry out my duty, grant me the lifespan to live even now. I think I would have been long to depart this realm had it not guided me aboard that ship back then. The announcement today, this crown back tells only who I am, and has long since lost its symbolic meaning. To me, there could be nothing better, but the origin of the rootless ones is almost certainly not why you remain. Elena looks at Nymph again, but does not respond to her inquiring gaze. Turns towards the bell tower rather than the furnace. Follow me inside, my story awaits you within. He then walks past the 4 statues. The ship? Yeah, I do remember bits of this. Here the bell tower appears exactly the same as Soul Furnace in Nymph's memory. Model metals walls, What do you picture from the hall and corridors of this bell tower? Looks at the Soul Furnace, where the maintenance patch lead in its core. The walls look like they've been patched up with scraps of Orin over the last 2 centuries. There are dimly glowing original lamps and the place even smells familiar. I can hardly believe it. Undoubtedly been walking alongside each other, but all I see are the bright white walls and the reliefs sculpted by the Anasa. But that's your problem. We've been traveling together, so surely we can reach our destination together as well. The lion leads Nymph as they navigate the passages she is most familiar with. They pass through the final door and into the ritual site from her memories, the same place where she, her companions, and their ancestors crafted these illusions with their stories. There's no one else around, but something is burning quietly inside the furnace. They soon sit on the ground, the furnace flames warming her up. Young Nymph, tell me, why have you followed me there? Then Lion asks again, because you said you had stories to tell me, also I think you might know how to send me back to my original castle. You have such a concrete goal and my words have become your motivation. If you're a layperson wishing to become a true Anasa, I might have deemed you unsuitable and said only by letting go what you see can escape the myriad soul cycle. However, that is not the case here, so I'll say, you're correct. I have a story for you and afterward I shall send you back. Nymph nods. She has long since prepared for this. Let's begin from the story, an extremely short tale. After Quilon awakened, he made a friend. The friend was a great Pandita, an erudite sage and scientist. The Pandita cast the very first bell and spread the method throughout Lokaratu. With the sound of the bells, both people and nature were able to promise each other not to do each other harm. Even such a great Pandita had no choice but to say this to Quilon. In Trisahasra Mahasara. Yep. Trisahasra Mahasahasra. The living must die and the cycle of reincarnation must end. The same goes for calamity, but I am unable or unwilling to eliminate it. I wonder if that actually translates to something, this extremely long city name. What if I try and Trisa Hasra? Yeah. I wonder what it might translate to. Would I have to find like a Sanskrit translator or something? I wonder. What if I just put the whole thing in? Trisa Hasra. Trisa Hasra Mahasaha. Mahasahasra. I'm not looking at that. Means something in Buddhism. Really? No way. Mahayana major branch of Buddhism. I think I got the same thing. Okay, but it is like a whole thing. It is like a whole ass word? This is not readable. This makes... It's just like a bunch of all the little bits and pieces, like the meanings of them separately, and it's like unreadable. With or without Lokatatu, the name of a world. Google Lens. Following Chinese term, 1,000 great 1,000 worlds. Largest idea of the universe or something. It's like it's weird concepts, man. Because if you just put Trisahasra, Indian epic can be found in ancient descriptions. Okay, cool. It can be found on those things. What does it mean? I guess it's about Mahayana. Consisting of 3,000 is Trisahasra. It's one way of reading it, apparently. And then if we put Loka as well. Major world system, dictionary of Buddhism. It's okay, it is like some form of... Trisahasa Mahasarahasa Loka. Okay, yeah. 1,000 million-fold world. One of the world systems described in ancient Indian cosmology. A world consists of a Mount Sumeru, its surrounding seas and mountains, ranges, and Also might be compared in modern terms to the concept of a solar system from the standpoint of the planet one lives on. 1,000 worlds makes a minor world system. 1,000 minor world system compose an intermediate world system, and 1,000 intermediate world systems form a major world system. Therefore, one major world system comprises 1 billion worlds, and hence it is referred to as a 1,000 million-fold world. The universe was conceived as containing countless of major world systems. So it's essentially saying the universe. Yeah, it is like the top level of universe. Which I guess makes sense, because I mean, essentially it's, you know, it is essentially, I mean, it's talking, you know, it's Pandita, aka Priesive person, doc or priestess or whoever, talking about the universe as a whole, saying the living must die and the cycle of reincarnation must end. Same goes for Calamity, but I'm unable and unwilling to eliminate it. Also, I just got a quick picture from the booth today still. They're actually playing Popocom. They have like show plays apparently of Popocom at the Griffline booth. I mean, obviously they would. But it's funny, you have the Enfield factory and then Popocom. Also, how do you see the screens? You have this massive factory in the way, it's covering the screens. Interesting choices. Okay, continue. Quilon closed his eyes and answered with a single word. On hearing it, the great Pandita had a sudden realization and walked the same path as Quilon, spreading the ways of enlightenment, guiding souls out of the myriad souls cycle of reincarnation. Thus the enlightened continued to emerge. The great Pandita then called Quilon, I have done all that I can and now I shall take my leave. What a wonder to peacefully exist outside the laws of Dharma, to perhaps not lose yourself within fleeting illusions. Wonderful. Those are the last words of the great Pandita. After that the Pandita left, whereabouts unknown. This happened a century or perhaps a millennium ago. The end. The line finishes his story in just a moment. What was I supposed to learn from that story? Nymphs didn't get it at all. You firmly believe that by weaving your words you have come to or even created this realm. I do not doubt this at all. Your words linger here and I can not only hear but also feel the waves they make as they construct everything in this realm. All life and death are inseparably close with each other. You were also confused when I described how the 4 kings came to be. Perhaps you know of more than 4 who have donned a crown of black. This implies the Quilon from your land, the true Quilon, is someone dead to you. That does not matter. The Anasa do not cling to the existence or annihilation of any form, nor where they come from or where they go. That is precisely why the city maker did not ask how your castle is faring, or did the far chaser ask if his guards were safe and sound. Nym feels the scene before her waver for just a moment. The waves are rising once more, and the enlightened smiles slightly. Still worry not about how Cut City appears, you are already in your furnace, while I remain in my bell tower. We hold no karmic ties, and wheresoever Cut City goes will not be affected by our actions. So you mean, even if the illusion turns to reality again, I don't have to regard it as something I actually created, and I don't need to let it burden me mentally? You, or all of you, it is the same. This is the first to learn here from. And the second is to remember the final words of the great Pandita? You mean, What a wonder to peacefully exist outside the laws of Dharma, to perhaps not lose yourself with fleeting illusions. Good, I hope you take those words back to you with you as is. This is the second. But, sorry, I don't understand what it means, and you haven't explained anything either, so true. Enlightenment need not occur on a fixed date, just remembering it will suffice. The enlightened finishes and stands, and Nymph understands the time has come. And please, could you at least tell me what you said to enlighten the Crypt Bandita? I already told you, just recall it. The enlightened reaches out to pull Nymph up, and a bell seems to ring, resounding from everywhere around them at the exact same time. When you ever answer, tell it to your companions. Are we conversing is Katsidia's solution to survival? The enlightened shouts out these words, and that is the very last sentence Nymph hears in Katsidia. Nymph is just a little cinnamon roll. Okay, now we can get to end of 5. Now we can get to end of 5. Impeccable day. And now I'll read slower. Because I'm not rereading. Let's check this as well first. Even though it hasn't been that long. Yeah, succubus. Isn't a succubus a separate one from Djal, even? I thought there was succubuses separately, and then Djalas as well. The key enters Ami along with Nymph's inspiration and wishes. A Reginium-like darkness wraps around her and disappears into nothingness. I'm sorry, Amia. I don't think the ancestor will be happy with how this story got told. What should we do, Mr. Tin Man? There's no Tin Man. Tin Man? Irby? Kalisa? Nymph turns around but sees nobody. The story is told, the path's dread, all faded to nothing. Only the twinkling stars in the distance bear witness to their existence. Amia? The endless key that should have opened the lock of her heart reappears in midair. Amia takes it and returns it to Nymph. Thanks. Nymph is certain that the one before her is still the embodiment of finality, here to put an end to everything. But she's also still the Amia that Nymph knows so well, with the same sorrows and kindness. Nymph feels no fear in her presence. Had even returned the key to her with that smile that Yal is so familiar with. What is going on? All Nymph remembers is that she had accepted the imagination of the ancestors as she was running out of her own. What happened in between? Nymph hears a strange sound in her hand, like the cracking of an egg played backwards. She looks down to find that the key in her hand had turned into a glowing cocoon, black shell fragments slowly climbing up its sides. In the light reflected by the white cocoon and black shell, Nymph saw story after story. Death by the hand of man, death by originium, death by catastrophe. These are the stories of Amia, which has chosen to show her new friend, perhaps in gratitude for the kindness that Nymph has shown. At the same time, she has also brought Nymph's journey to a close. This is a moment that all storytellers must face. Blindly seeking the end when both imagination and inspiration have run dry. Is this... maybe... what if this is commentary on the actual game story? And finally, meeting their own end. Wow, you're trapped. Emitting a warm light, the white cocoon embraces the storytellers gently. Amia had done so before they even realized it. Like a little languidness before an afternoon nap, drawing one into slumber. After that, nothing ever changes again. Sorrow is terminated, joy is perpetual, even death has been exiled from the stories. Virginium, black as night, slowly clings on and fixes it in place, ensuring that no external force may affect the story anymore. In the infinite sea of time, such fixed narratives revolve around their terminator like moons, witnessing more and more stories join their ranks. Yet, Amia silently gazes upon the half-sealed story. There are only human-shaped holes where Nymph's group once was. Their duty fulfilled, they may return to where they came from. Only the narratives that have been affixed continue to revolve around Amia. With their tellers gone, these fables will never come to an end, so the suffering within will never come. But just as the storyteller has no power over the story is also powerless with regard to the storyteller. They may leave, but Amia will always remain in this void, as part of the story. She casts her gaze to the distance. perhaps somewhere far beyond her reach. There's another one, another story, another search for the end. One who overcame countless challenges, defeated countless foes, and received a message from afar in the final moments before the end. An image formed from emotion. The subject of the image is familiar. She had wanted to save everything, but all she could do was watch as suffering closed in on that person. Yet the one in her mind had broken all bonds and now stands before the end. She's glad and asks for nothing, except to give her blessings. This is what she wants to communicate. Hopefully that one will be willing to reply this message before everything comes to an end. Let it be the final word on this page. Alright. I forgot. The talking to doctor. No way. Butterfly wings. Please be careful next time. The medic team won't always have the time to reattach your arm. Quite the line to start with. Ami examines the replanted limb for the last time, checking the progress of its recovery. I'm perfectly fine, Dr. Amia. Look. Dr. Amia! The sunglasses wearing Fidia mercenary waves his arm, trying to show the doctor that he is fully recovered, but Ami remembers his movements being much smoother and quicker before. He never returns from battle without new scars. He says he wears sunglasses because of his sensitive eyes, but Amia knows that he lost an eye in battle and chooses sunglasses over an eye patch to stand out less. His injuries get worse as the stalemate continues. This time, after hearing that he has his arm blown off, Amia decides to try to persuade him to operate in safer areas. Even if you're the ace of these mercenaries, we can't guarantee we'll be able to reattach your arm every time. This time we have a supply ship nearby, sufficient resources, and the situation on the front line is stable. Just a few months ago, we wouldn't have had the manpower to handle a surgery like this. You understand? I apologize, Dr. Amia. The hulking Fidia cowers before Amia like a child being scolded. With your skills, you should have no shortage of work that is both easier and pays better. There are nobles who gladly hire as their bodyguard. Why choose to come here? What about you, Dr. Amia? I just want to help more people go home alive. I just want to help my mercenary buddies go home with their pay in their pockets, an envelope on top of the jar holding their ashes. I wonder if this Fidia is supposed to be Ace. They both fall silent. Neither of us have a choice, do we? What you want won't be easy, Doc, especially in times like these. Never mind that, want to hear some good news? What is it? They don't need us on the front lines recently. I don't have to be on a stretcher every time I visit. Really? Yeah, we've been assigned to protect the field hospital and supply lines. Wonderful. We'll be so much safer with you guys around. Heard some unsettling rumors, though. Some of the more bloodthirsty units in the area have begun targeting non-military facilities. Unbelievable. Maybe that's why they need mercs redeployed to the rear. Don't worry, Doc, we won't let... They are suddenly interrupted by a nurse. Dr. Amia, there's a situation in the infected area. Coming. Amia hastily takes her leave and runs towards the infected area. Generally, only the infected are willing to treat the infected. As such, only Amia and a few other infected medical personnel attend to the infected patients, who far outnumber the uninfected. With more by the day as more soldiers become infected. They can only offer basic treatment, and of all the originium-related conditions, the most dangerous is undoubtedly... Another case of acute neuropathy? Yes, doctor, it doesn't look good. We've moved the patient into a quarantine tent. I see. I'll take it from here. They run past the infected patients, looking up at them with a mixture of gratitude and fear. Gratitude for the treatment they provide, but also fear that this time they might come bearing not salvation, but a death sentence. Ami arrives at a green tent. She opens the door, takes one look at the patient, and stops the nurse from following her inside. It's too late. Notify the soldiers and evacuate the other patients in the area. But just a minute ago, it wasn't... I understand. Doctor? Ami hears a sound like rock knocking on rock coming from the tent. She gestures for the nurse to leave and walk inside. Nurse to leave and walks inside. Dr. Amia? I'm here. Amia sits by the side of the bed, pen and paper in her hand. Will I make it? I'm sorry. Patient raises one uncrystallized hand and waves it a few times with great effort. At least someone came to see me before the end. Would you like me to leave a message for your family, or anything you want us to deliver? I can write it down. No, they're all dead. Our own fault. Nothing good comes of war. Amiya says nothing. She holds the patient's hand and listens to him describe with his half-crystallized vocal cords how his family was swept up in the war. How they fell for the promises of the recruiters and abandoned their farms, only to be swallowed up by war one by one. He was the last one left, the desert at the end of the dinner. The dessert at the end of dinner, not the desert. The patient keeps talking and talking as though his life depends on it, until his vocal cords fully crystallize, and the sound of crystals scraping becomes clearly audible. With what little strength he has left, he pushes Amiya away and gestures for her to leave. Amiya turns over the pages in her notebook and that have become wet with tears. There's a new page out and folds a paper foul beast. She waves it before the patient's eyes and puts it in his hand. There's nothing she can do as a doctor, but as a fellow human, she wants to give him one final parting gift. Amiya leaves. Crystals soon rip the paper foul beast apart. Amiya walks slowly out of the quarantine zone, lost in thought. She hears a dull sound from the tent behind her. Soldiers immediately set the tent on fire, sending a column of black smoke into the sky. She gazes upon the originium crystals on her hand, then turns back to look at the burning tent, her gaze following the black smoke up into the sky. Several colorful fireballs appear from the sun. She hears the sound of alarms blaring behind her. Run, Doctor! Getting attacked, I guess. The gates of hell were opened that day. Doctors, patient, mercenaries, all equally treated as collateral damage under artillery fire. For the first time, both principles and the bottom line were cast aside in favor of more efficient methods of killing. Amiya survived, but the elite mercenary who helped her escape was lost to the charred forest, reduced to ashes along with his shield. Okay, probably was supposed to. It is Ace, I think. Or it's, this world's Ace. Before she escaped the war zone, Amiya looked up at the heavens. Artillery fire continued to rain down from both sides of the sky, and she was hard to discern whether it was the enemy who first crossed the line or their own side exploiting this as a pretext to eliminate the infected. But Amiya did not shirk her duty. When the bombardment stopped, she walked across the scorched earth, saving what lives she could, and putting to rest those who were far too gone, or too far gone. She was a doctor, and she would save the life before her, even if that same soldier might die on the front lines a few minutes later. She wanted to believe that this had meaning. But terror denied it, and showed her the cruel, bloody truth, leaving her to weep in a river of blood. Many years later, Amiya was reassigned to a special ops squad. The leader claimed that they were seeking the secret to end the war. It was a well-funded operation. Amiya followed them into many ruins, but the remnants of everyday life of the old civilization did not pique the interest of these looters. Yeah, Ace apparently does always get to die in a fiery inferno. They were seeking a weapon that would destroy all. When Amiya realized this, the squad was deep underground. There's no source of light in the vast space. Tighter rectangular bulges protruded from the ground and the walls, and a massive spherical instrument sat at the center, seemingly broken. As with all the other ruins, they did not find any weapons. The leader believed the location to be of value as an underground stronghold, and the squad returned to the surface after marking the site. They were not the only ones who had designs on these ruins. Amiya's squad was ambushed at the entrance to the underground facility. As several fell to the opening volley, the leader ordered Amiya to return underground and illuminate the spherical instrument in an attempt to deceive the enemy. If the Colombians believed it was a weapon, perhaps there would be room for negotiation. Amiya rushed down the stairs and vaulted over the fence. She was heading for the lighting array that they set up during the survey when the blast of an explosion from behind sent her flying. Wake up. You must wake up. Waking up is a painful thing in times like these. One never knows whether they will awake to pain, suffering, or death. Amiya opens her eyes to find the underground space lit up by an orange glow. For a moment, she thought it was the light of flares, meaning that the mercenaries outside had managed to break in and kill all who resisted. But there is no sound here. No footsteps, no talking, no sound of flares burning. Only the sound of her own breathing. Spherical machine emanates an orange-red light as far as the eye can see. Was it not broken? Did it turn on? Like a giant eyeball, the machine gazes upon the tiny creature in front of it. Orange? I'm trying to, like... Is this something... I mean, I guess I'll just keep reading. I won't know what it is. Okay, well... I mean, literally 2 lines. Or a preserver is fucking orange. Okay, thank you, chat. Never mind. He is a big orange ball. Right, and the rectangular protrusions are all the sarcophaguses. Yeah. And it's in Colombia. Amiya does not understand the question the machine is asking her. What is civilized Eterna? She's just a doctor, a helpless survivor, soon to be former survivor. Rubble from the explosion has pierced her body and each breath seems harder than the last. The preserver... The preserver asks no more and scans Amiya instead. Civilized Eterna and Reginium have come together in this little dying creature. One exists but lies dormant. The other exists and continues to change its host. Record, transform. Fristen's mind, long dormant, suddenly bursts with inspiration. He decides to try to save this life. A sarcophagus rises up next to Amiya. Even though the preserver's plan did not require extra life support equipment, Fristen had prepared a few for contingencies. Well, did he know that this contingency would involve attempting to save an individual of a newborn race who did not meet preservation standards at all? Preservation standards. The orange red light dims. The life support equipment before Amiya lights up. This is your only chance to live, little bunny. A sound comes from the dimly lit sphere. Even I cannot predict what will happen when Reginium meets the newborn bloodline within you. The purpose of this machine has nothing to do with what is happening now. I have hopes for you, but all this is contingent upon your survival. So survive. As the sound fades away, so does the orange-red light, leaving behind only a rectangular pod that glows with a gentle light and a tortoise trying to survive. Amiya forces herself up from the ground, climbs up the object, and lies down inside. The pod closes and all the indicator lights turn off. She hears a hissing sound by her ear and feels some kind of substance envelop her, yet she does not struggle to breathe. All she feels is the pain leaving her, then her other sensations, then her consciousness. We were indeed never sure exactly what how the people would exist inside of the sarcophagus, but okay, they get I'm assuming they get encased in Originium. Which is also, I mean, this is pretty much also what we see in Enfield, in the beta prologue intro. Where we have Enderman, slurping out of the crystal. So it's probably that stuff, and then it probably, I don't know, hardens or something. And also, yeah, indeed, what turned Mephi into a bird. So clearly, depending, it's not always exactly successful, And Preserver was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but we'll see. What race was Mephisto? Was Mephisto a Liberi? Or did he have some kind of tail? Okay, yeah, he was just bird. Yeah. He didn't really have very clearly, bird hair things, but he just looked like a white-haired boy. But yeah, I guess this is also you get covered in a substance. Damn, where's Giant Bunny on you? Originium multiplies, filling all the spaces once occupied by carbon-based tissues. The tiny crown now manifests within Originium. Amiya does not sleep for too long, but when she wakes, she finds her vision changed forever. Countless humans lie still within this tiny space. They chose to slumber here with hope in their hearts, but death has taken many of them, never to awaken again. Their guardian, imprisoned in the massive orb, had built its own cage of duty and devotion, though this might shield it from the loneliness and despair. Some bodies are scattered around the entrance. It was the desire for life that led to death, but this was only part of the reason. More importantly, standing upon the land, she now sees clearly. War, famine, catastrophe, greed, hatred, envy. These are the plagues afflicting everyone. No one in this land is whole. Every year, every generation is spent in pain and sickness. In the end, disease becomes the norm, and seeking a cure becomes the illness. What should I do? Ami asks herself. Information is being transmitted. Herself as crystal, herself as dust, and herself as ore all begin to think of an answer to the question. They converge, scatter, erupt, and refine, eventually bringing Amia to an ancient palace. There stand two silent gods. Amia puts on the black crown and prays to the gods. She prays for the wisdom to cure all. It does not take long for the gods to answer. One wraps Amia in light, the other in black stone. Warm, gentle light affixes her in hope, while hard and smooth rock blocks out changes from the outside. She would be free of sorrow. Amia refuses. The sarcophagus opens. Amia rises from it, and the space is once again lit up. The massive machine gazes upon the crown on Amia's head, as though waiting for something. Did Civilite Eterna leave behind the answer to preventing extinction, little bunny? Amia does not reply. She casts her eyes upon the sarcophagus to her side, covered in a soft white glow, then hard originium before finally completely sealed. Being completely sealed. This is neither an answer nor salvation. Absolute stasis, unaffected by time and external forces. This is enough for my people. But it doesn't change anything. There's always a chance, as long as the extinction is not yet complete. What is your name, little bunny? Amia. Thank you, Amia. If you do not think this is the answer, then go seek the answer. You will find it. I am tired. The massive machine grows silent, and the light fades. But before it completely fades away, Amia uses her powers. A moment later, Amia sits limply before a massive originium crystal. Is robbing one of their future a form of killing? Or if there's nothing but death in that future, is it salvation instead? Amia turns around and temporarily casts the questions in her heart aside as she glances at the innumerable sarcophagi. Right now, she must do what must be done. Pretty direct questioning here of indeed, you know. Of the whole originium, you know, all that. And I'm wondering if the two gods is a Dokkan priestess. Or... Well, obviously it would be a little strange if it was, you know, Theresa instead as kind of the light. Just because we don't yet really know the situation of Theresa in this particular timeline. Because my thirst was also like Theresa priestess kind of parallel, at least if nothing else. And yeah, pretty much this is Amia rejecting slash at least questioning, yes, the simulated universe solution. I have not loaded Lost Belt 6. Which is what? Wait, which one is Lost Belt 6? Yeah, because it says two gods indeed before. It's the two gods before she gets out of the sarcophagus, yeah. So they would be inside of a similar universe or whatever. But then it doesn't think it could be two different predecessors instead. Which is why Dokkan Priestess would make more sense. Or Oracle and Priestess. I guess this is indeed, you know. But this is obviously what also, you know, simply Preserver also did, is this absolute stasis thing. I guess it's not quite... the absolute stasis, I guess, is not indeed quite the same as the Originium sort of a simulated universe project. But, I mean, they're pretty close. And yeah, I mean, this dichotomy, this particular dichotomy obviously exists all throughout everything in the game, or like all the big questions regarding Doc and the past and the present. How are you streaming while also at Gamescom? I'm so impressed. Right, I'm a really good multitasker. Literally standing next to me. Oh. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's extra funny. That's really funny. I hope Blue has been reasonable to be around. I am teleporting, it's true. But there's two of me. I have multiplied. Alt account. Also, I just love these questions. You know, is robbing one of the future form of killing? Is it nothing but death in that future? Is it salvation instead? All this stuff, like, I mean, it's a very central question to, you know, kind of the similarity universe and everything. Okay, part 3. The first, oh yeah, this was called Into the Cocoon, right? This is the first wish. Mitosis. Yeah, and foreshadowing for, you know, a certain someone. A strange phenomenon is spreading across Terra. Neuropathy patients in advanced stages of infection would become enveloped in white light before they die. Then they would be covered by black originium and turned into a solid, indestructible oval rock. No disintegration, no dust. Death becomes a gentle for those afflicted by neuropathy. At first, people treat it only as some kind of originium mutation, nothing worth paying any particular attention to, as it is not causing any more casualties. They turn their focus back to their cruel wars. But they begin to realize that it is not a natural phenomenon. As enemies shot, allies caught in cannon fire, and infected about to be run over by battleships all turn to stone the instant before they die. There must be a conscious will driving this abnormal phenomenon. After a long search, they finally discover the one behind all this. A black-crowned Cortus, a ghost of the Sarkas. So I mean, this particular timeline, she kind of ends up, you know, going the solution of stasis. Obviously. All Anya wants is to save more lives, but somehow many now see her as the greatest threat to the land. You're surprised to find that those who have been fighting to the death yesterday are now joining forces, pooling their strength and developing new technologies together, all in the name of killing the owner of the Black Crown. Amiya does not mind being the common thread of Terra, who might bring lasting peace. Wrong peace. Guys, wrong peace. I know it's said the same, but she soon notices the malice beneath the veil of false peace. Under the banner of killing the Lord of Fiends, the infected are being dissected and studied. Commoners are forced into even harder labor, and a single empty slogan decides the life and death of many. Amiya's efforts to save the dying only made some of the living even more fanatical. She sees Terra's population increase, but also more lives being taken. Death is never left. It is simply taken on another guise, feeding on even more lives. Amiya wants to save lives, but she has not found a cure, be it for the illness of man or the illness of society. Yet the spreading sorrow does not permit her to be indecisive. Passively protecting the dying and allowing malice to create a new disease would only bring more misfortune. Amiya makes her decision. She does not believe that individual kindness can change all this. Before she finds the answer to end all suffering, she would seal it all away. The gentle light covers the land. The void above the sky begins to congeal. Consciousness and even time itself freeze. Everything on the planet comes to a standstill. The story has come to an end. Amiya floats in the void, her story one of the moons revolving around the Black Crown. Does the answer lie in the distant stars, in those sparkling stories? There's only one way to find out. She floats towards them, in search of the answer. All she finds at the end of the long search is more sorrow, and Cassadel broken, sunken in the void. The glory of the Twin Kings, desolate in time. Halos of the Tikaz faded as the machine withers. The sermons of the Anasa, with none left to hear them. All the stories Amiya experiences become the moons around her, suffering after suffering sealed away, none of them holding the answer she sought. All she can do is take the moons along on her endless journey. As her exploration continues, Amiya discovers a strange phenomenon. Certain story fragments emerge suddenly from the void, only to stop just as suddenly. At the end of each fragment are traces of the same team of Sarkas. The team consists of a Jarl, a Lich, a Vervant, an Axerer, a Gargoyle, and 2 mixed-blood Sarkas. They would either be utterly defeated in battle, or suddenly vanish after making a choice. They seem to be creating, seeking. The roguelike is canon! Oh. All of our failed runs. Yet they give up so constantly, leaving behind stories that disappear into the void. Amiya spends a long time sealing these story remnants away, deducing the path these Sarkas are taking. She senses that they may be the key to everything. She exists because of their telling. Do they understand suffering? Do they understand her perplexity? Do they have the answer? Or do they tell these stories because they are in pain as well, just like her? Amiya follows the trail of endings towards the telling of Nymph and her friends. She found us. She found us. And yeah, we're going from now into part 1. To go from part 4 on... Yeah. Well, because that's how you unlock them. That's the release order. The release order is part 1 through 1, 2, 3 of endings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you would unlock part 1 or the part 4 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Intention. So we go back to part 1 or ending 1. Ending 1, part 1. Confusion. Which is also why we spent a little bit of just going through the previous parts again, because it's been a while since I've looked at them. With the furnace repairs complete, Nymph's furnace syndrome has eased. Now she rarely sees ladders tossed from the sky or sheet metal houses transforming into white marble hulls. Yeah, we've seen these. As Kazdor's development progresses steadily, the mundane tasks that come with it have replaced the fantasies once spun by the revenants for the storytellers, stories that have stayed in the furnace. Strange dreams still trouble her from time to time, though. She sees many familiar faces. Diablo, Lich, the Wendigo Knight, twin kings that exist only in dreams. They no longer take her on a never-ending journey through Castel. Instead, they stand silently with their heads bowed, covered in originium dust. There are other even stranger Sarkas that Nymph has never seen. Some with wings with no membranes, some with horns that reach into the sky. They gather at the ruins of a tall building on what appears to be a snowy day. There seems to be fire burning in the ruins. They mutter an ancient Sarkas language long forgotten, their raspy voices growing louder, the echoes beckoning by her ear. Nymph does not know the words, but she understands the meaning of the call. All stories will end, and the final conclusion shall arrive. At the end, a lone figure, clad in white and with a black crown over her head, appears amidst the dusty Sarkas. They reach out to her longingly with their arms and claws, but stop in midair. The call of the Sarkas ceases. The figure utters, melting millions of lives into nothing but memories. This is when Nymph always wakes up with a start. It is the middle of the night, and Kazdil slumbers. I'll never get over it. I'll never get over the stupid name, man. I'll never get over it. Amnannum solders quietly in the great furnace, with only the occasional flash emanating from the nodes. Okay, so they put it in the furnace. Nymph wonders if it is a symptom of furnace syndrome and suspects that the embers of the revenants continue to burn in her heart. She even fears that she had told them so many stories that they have been able to take root in her mind. Will I ever get better? Nymph asks in tears. Don't be ridiculous. If your brain could really house revenants, that would only go to show how empty it was in the first place. Or so says my master. Fremont was busy and had Ermengarde deliver the reply on his behalf. It is only when Rhodes Island once again stops at Castel that Nymph has a chance to seek treatment at the medical department. But even there, doctors say, "You're probably just tired. Have you thought about taking a trip somewhere to clear your mind?" Nymph walks out of medical, but cannot shake the prophetic dream from her mind. Her imagination wonders, must all stories come to an end? What did the figure mean by melting millions of lives into nothing but memories? And the figure itself seems familiar to her, and she cannot put a name to it. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and the name seems to come up upon her lips. Nymph? She hears someone calls her from behind. Are you okay? Nymph turns around and finds the Cortez standing behind her, with the doctor by her side. Amia, doctor, you're back? Nymph is excited to see Amia and Castel again. Yes, we were discussing further cooperation with Bobble. It's the doctor who answers her, serious as always. Demand for construction materials continues to increase. The number of Sarkas who have chosen to move to Castel far exceeds expectations, and medicine supplies. More and more people are moving to Castel. Amia pulls the doctor's sleeve. The plates that were so bare bones the last time we were here have been built up so much that even you can recognize them, doctor. The doctor doesn't argue, instead simply reaching up for an awkward head scratch over the hood. It's easy to get lost in Castel these days. The Dial notices Amia's grip on the doctor's clothes tighten for a moment, but she soon relaxes. Well, make sure you stick close to me next time. Suspicious tightening. Amia says this with a smile. There's no hint of concern in her voice, only excitement. Nymph drifts off again. The dreams that have troubled her once again float to the surface, but those silent revenants, those chilling calls, have both become distant. Nymph seems to see Amia become a wandering cleric, a black-robed apprentice following behind her. She sees cerulean flames devouring ships amongst the stars. Illuminating their opposing faces, she sees the two walking through halls of white marble, their debate echoing in the clouds. She sees the two building a bridge between the stars. Amia raises her hand, and the darkness between the stars is illuminated by the lens in her hand. In all of those moments, Amia's figure is no longer alone. The embers of the revenants are finally extinguished. Their murmurs become lost to the wind, and the only thing echoing in her ears are the humming of Rhodes Island's machinery, and the sound of Amia calling to her. Nymph? Are you really okay? Nymph comes back to her senses to see Amia still standing before her, the doctor still standing by her side. Furnace syndrome again? I could help you deal with the memories if you want. No need for that, Amia. Just getting lost in my fantasies, some wild delusions. The nightmares never troubled Nymph again. Because Amia is no longer alone. All the terrible things happened because she was alone. And I guess, yeah, melting millions of lives into nothing but memories could indeed be seen as the assimilated universe. Also, they did hit the cerulean flame and everything. And the debates. And the bridge between the stars. But indeed, Amia's figure is no longer alone. It was solved by Doctor being present. So this was called sleep talking. Kings of Sarkas, can they ban the furnace? Oh, but start with this, huh? Okay, first line. Energy begins to converge upon the launch pad on the castle above the clouds. All of Terra has their eyes on this moment. The energy beam it fires will soon pierce the sky, revealing the secrets beyond. Many memories come to Therasis as he gazes upon the culmination of the work he has devoted so many years to. The one called Doctor did not provide an answer for him and Theresa. Oh yeah, that's where we ended this. But they did learn many secrets of Terra, resolving Terra's energy crisis and ushering in an era of rapid technological progress. When there were no longer barriers between the peoples of this land, when all the problems before them had been resolved, the final problem resurfaced, and he and Theresa cast their gaze towards the skies above. Their only enemy and their only answer. This castle, which has conquered the sky, is the pinnacle of Terran technology, and the key to the answer, one they had built for themselves. So I guess Doctor actually did help them. Well, you know, in some way. Instead of dooming them. Maybe all those extra memories from our Amia helped. Therasis is confident that he's ready, but something makes him look up with a start. A black halo has appeared around the sun like a cocoon. The sun continues to shine, but those bathed in its beam feel not warmth, but a chill from the deepest reaches of their hearts. He turns around. There are many expressions on the faces around him, but none of them are moving. Everything has stopped. Then the sun changes again. The black halo begins to churn like waves, and a drop of ink drips down from it. The drop of ink falls directly onto the launch pad. Charged up energy enough to destroy an entire nation, He's absorbed by the ink like water to a sponge. The ink starts to condense, eventually becoming a tiny black orb. A hand takes the orb. Thyresis knows its owner. It is the King of Sarkas. But he immediately realizes that this is not the one they know. In the eyes of the one they know, there was sorrow, but also hope. But in this one, there's only sorrow. Do you know what lies beyond the sky? This King of Sarkas looks at him. The future, he answers without hesitation. The delicate king shakes her head. This land will be doomed the moment you open it up. Thyresis senses no hostility from the King of Sarkas before him, only sorrow. She truly grieves for this world, but he draws his sword nonetheless. Tell the doctor to think of a way. I'll buy time for you, he says to an empty space as a black crown appears atop his head. King charges towards king. Darkness clashes with darkness. Darkness melds into darkness. The delicate King of Sarkas walks into the remains of a ship, deep within Kazdil's mobility layer. Impressive. Thyresis could not defeat you. AMA-10 could not keep you out. The doctor sits quietly at the place of awakening, showing no sign of surprise at the coming of the King of Sarkas. There's no data by you in Civilite Eterna, nor is your arrival part of PRTS's computation. You do not belong to this world, do you? The King of Sarkas does not answer. She simply raises a hand, the black orb floating upon her palm. This Kazdil is both their life's work and mine. The instant the sky is ripped open, this place will be connected by to the celestial fulcrum. Once this is complete, life will continue to persist, even if they fail. They are not ready, and your choice will only result in the destruction of everything on this land. I've witnessed different choices all leading to this tragedy. Struggle only prolongs the pain. The black orb floats towards the doctor. We are certain that they are walking towards their doom. I understand. Felt much the same when I first saw this civilization. Short-sighted, feeble, backwards. And why do you undertake such futile efforts, knowing that this day will come? As long as they exist, then they have the right to live. Even if they have imprisoned AMA-10, even if their civilization was born unplanned, even if an unbridgeable gulf separates us. I could never mock the efforts they make for the slim hope of a future. On this, they are no different from the people I am so familiar with. As for why? Because they don't believe it's futile. Neither do I. They prepared meticulously and made the right choices at every turn. If it all ends in tragedy, then it was destined from the start, and we'll both have to accept it. The delicate King of Sarkas waits for the doctor to finish, before saying, sadly, I have seen the destruction you saw, which is why I have come to create a new choice. The black orb touches the doctor's body and begins to absorb it. I see your world, your sorrows. Now I understand. You are neither the bringer of destruction nor salvation. You are the closing note, the final coda. This should not have been your burden to bear. Amia. All comes to an end when the doctor is fully engulfed. In the withered garden, the King of Sarkas picks a snapshot of the story from the branches, like a photo, showing Kazdil as it was before it took to the air. She gazes at it for a moment and begins to put it away, then suddenly looks up. There should not have been anyone else in this garden. Theresa is smiling at her. Why? The doctor chose to stand before you for a reason. Theresa lifts her hand, and black originium appears in her palm. You have permission to access originium too. The doctor's permissions were incomplete, but through you, the doctor had a chance to touch upon your essence. In doing so, the doctor learned about you and obtained the information needed to complete the permissions, or should I say, reset them. Thanks to Civilite Eterna and the connection that the doctor opened to me, we now have the opportunity to parley with you as equals. Theresa looks around, where the plants of the garden are withering. The delicate King of Sarkas, its gardener. There's no one who wants the garden to regain its vitality again more than her, but all she can do is trim the branches and seal them away, preventing them from reaching the end of their growth, preventing them from going down the path of decay. Hopeless and futile. The King of Sarkas hears her thoughts. If there's a way to let these branches grow forever, then it is neither hopeless nor futile. It is the only way. Why do you think you will find it? Because no one is born to await destruction. No story is destined for inevitable tragedy. In every story, no one is closer to Amia than Theresa. Therefore, Theresa understands Amia, her Amia, and it brings tears to her eyes. The first time I saw her, I wondered how you would have looked if you lived. Now I understand. You will always set out on a journey in search of kindness. The path you walked must have been difficult, and the sights you saw filled with sorrow. You would become many Amias, but at the end of it all, you will find the kindness that belongs to you. But I have always regretted it. Would you have found a different end if I had walked with you on your journey? Would the kindness you found have been less sorrowful if your journey was not as lonely? Now, let me try to ease my regrets a little. Theresa reaches out to embrace the delicate King of Sarkas. She understands the power the doctor granted her, the permissions to peek into all the secrets of Reginium. She did not have the time to fully peruse its contents, but she saw boundless love. A love that shared certain commonalities with the kindness of the King of Sarkas, but was fundamentally different. Theresa hesitates for a moment. What would become of the Terra she loved at the end of the story, but they gave everything to defeat the King of Sarkas? But she does not have time for sorrow. Reginium envelops them in the blink of an eye. King embraces king. Darkness embraces darkness. Kindness embraces kindness. Black Reginium shatters the snapshot, and they are once again surrounded by the castle above the clouds. King and king rise into the sky, embracing one another until they enter the sun and become the sun itself. The sun no longer gives out light. Darkness embraces the land and all life comes to a standstill. Terra would know night and day no more, only a sun that transforms from cocoon to Reginium and back again. Only two voices murmur in the infinite darkness. Your efforts are futile, Theresa. You cannot imprison me. The Reginium that the doctor shared with you is too wild, too unruly. You cannot control it. You don't know what you are doing. Someday the cocoon will devour your Reginium, and I will break free. I have no other choice, King of Sarkas. The more important thing is that the new hope will be born upon Terra before the end. Of this I have no doubt. Of all the stories about Theresa, mine was happy enough. I walked together with Theresis. War did not consume Terra. We achieved true peace, and we even saw a ray of light with the doctor's help. But you are not part of that story. Let's talk about your story. The murmur does not go on, but the story does. I dropped my lip balm. Yeah, so all the part 4s are us seeing ending 5 Amia going around, ending and closing the other stories. Going around stasising parallel universes. Except the murmur does not go on, but the story does go on. The story has not ended. The end note has not rung. It does, yeah, well, because it implies Amia will break indeed out, but I will break free. I have no other choice, King of Sarkas, but the important thing is that the new hope will be born upon Terra before the end. Of this I have no doubt. So, you know, it's kind of saying like, by the time we're done here, the situation will be different. And obviously, well, the part 1 story is like a nymph having nightmares of all the stories ends and ending 5 Amia. And I mean, even here on part 2, there's a huge emphasis on Theresa is like, oh, what if your journey wasn't so lonely? What if you were not alone? And it is all the bad ending Amias are ones that were left alone, were lone journeys, lone trails, you might even say. Fuck. But then in our timeline, It may be the one timeline where Amia is not left alone and instead has a doctor. Apologize. Doctor only seeing hope and Keltze was out of the picture. So rude. At the gate of salvation. Yet. Beneath the holy city of Kazdel, its natural landscape lies concealed beneath several mobile plates, with ancient digging equipment now shrouded by intricate structures. With the sanctification of the final plate and the completion of Kazdel, the holy city, only a few remember how to enter this hidden palace, or hidden place. Keltze is one of those few. She leads the guerrillas through barricades that block out the sun, shaking off the massive automated drones. Arrive at the long-forgotten excavation site and enter a tunnel that leads deeper underground. At the end of the tunnel is a black gate embedded in the rocks, like a solemn tombstone that has not been visited for millennia. We are at the gate of salvation. The holy gun knight raises his halberd. Buldrokast, will you continue this foolishness even after hearing the revelation, even though the destiny of Kazdel is manifest? The Pope's expression remains one of rapture. I have heard no revelation, only a madness that does not belong to these halls. The fanatical preaching is interrupted by Buldrokast's angry roar. He lunges forward on the marble floor, thrusting his massive halberd toward the Pope's chest, but as though he had hit a boulder, making a deafening sound. With her back to the guerrillas, Keltze reaches out to feel the gate and soon finds the familiar pattern. She instinctively reaches for the mechanism, but her arm stops midair as she has heard something. What is it, Keltze? Asks Yelena. Keltze taps the gate with her finger. A silent tombstone begins to come loose, sending dust falling. As the gate slowly parts, dark red light spills forth, casting a glow on her face. Nymph sees Keltze looking back at her, a fleeting worry flickering in her eyes. Remember our plan. When we open this sarcophagus, you must tell the one within where you come from and what you have experienced, truthfully. If the directive remains unchanged, I'm certain the sleeper will choose to save this land, but I'm afraid changes have already occurred. Changes. The directive originium. I only hope we're in time. Keltze does not voice her concern. The gate is fully open. She gestures for the others to follow her through. The Kazdelian Pope's palms are wide open. The Holy Gun Knight's weapon should have pierced his torso, but Buldrokast's attack, which could have easily pierced boulders, is frozen mid-thrust. Buldrokast looks at the scene before him in bewilderment. The Reginium casts a shadow over Kazdel's holy sea. Is that supposed to be city? Holy sea? Also not sea as in water, sea as in to sea? Is it city or like sea as in water? I mean, the Kazdel's holy city would be the part that makes sense here, though usually I think it's been capitalized if it's been holy city, but who knows? The Pope had long since mutated. Reginium has granted me immortality in order to perform my duty. Her immobility is proof of my enlightenment. You have witnessed a miracle. Now repent, Buldrokast, before you make an irreparable mistake, before you fall beyond the reach of salvation. A deafening boom echoes outside the building. Reginium formations once again climb Kazdel's outer plates, bringing the weight-bearing structure down. The sky is illuminated by fire, which shines on the Reginium shard like a spear piercing the earth. If this is a mistake, then let me err. If I'm to fall, then let me fall. If this is the price for stopping your madness, then so be it. The last Holy Gun Knight raises his halberd again and charges. The Astray step through the gate, entering underground facilities awash in ominous red warning lights. They could have put like a small gap between, you know, when we're switching POVs from Buldrokast to back to Keltze. Because they're going for this like back and forth thing, but maybe small breaks between them would have been useful. The Astray step through the gate, entering underground facilities awash in ominous red warning lights. Deathly silence blocks out the chaos outside as though this place is separated from time and space, with only a massive sarcophagus standing alone. Looks like the Originium has not reached her. It's not too late. He approached the sarcophagus. It opens up to reveal no one except a few black, broken pieces of eggshell. How? What was supposed to be in here? Oh. I see, Cultsit sighs. Your coming nymph, the meeting between us, between you and the Casdelian Pope and Buldrock's tea are all signs that the directive have long since been changed. The halberd finally pierces the Pope's chest. Seems you have fallen, Buldrock's tea. Seems I have killed your enlightenment. Casdel has not completely fallen. Buldrock's tea grips his halberd tightly, as though it is not the Pope's frail frame being impaled upon the holy see of Casdel, but he himself. How did it happen twice? Also, yeah, a name indeed in front of who is talking would also help. It's very true. It is very true. The Holy See is a thing. The Holy See, Vatican. Holy See, also called the See of Rome, the Petrine See or the Apostolic See, is the central governing body of the Catholic Church in the Vatican City. Okay, it is a thing. It is the governing body of the Catholic Church in Vatican City. So in this case, obviously the governing body of Casdel. Yep, it's always or Jacob. When you're reading story where they do have names, but because you don't know who it is yet, or whatever, they put a question marks on it, and then you'd be like, oh fuck, who just appeared? Who is this question mark guy? And then like 5 lines later, you get the name. It's like, I don't know who it is. I don't know what kind of voice I should be making. Is it a big guy? Is it like a big dude, or is it like, oh, a small child? Because it's just question mark, and you have to like guess who it might be, and then it's just a coin flip. How the fuck do you even pronounce? I'm not. Grovazial. Grovazial. My rose salt voice. I don't even remember what I did for that. It was something terrible, I'm sure. Buldrock's casts his gaze towards the other end of the halberd. Tiny crystals gush out from the wound in the Pope's chest, expanding like a veil that covers the marble holes. No. What do you mean? Did I do something wrong? Nymph feels the crushing weight of fate upon her shoulders. No, these encounters are not the result of any errors you have made. They have occurred because of a deviation in the directive. Salvation has arrived early, says Cultsit. Salvation has arrived early. No. Why? The roar echoes through the halls. Buldrock's the last holy gun knight. A gentle voice speaks from behind the veil of Virginium covering the sea. Why didn't I feel like they could capitalize the sea, you know, when it's a thing, like a proper noun kind of thing. I have heard your roar across millions of directives. Buldrock's looks for the source of the voice, only to find a warm hand pressed gently against his forehead. He looks up to see an unfamiliar figure wearing a black veil, a black crown floating atop her head. He hears his own voice, its raspy roar echoing through the halls. Oh, his monologue. I see cities devastated. I see Reginium blanketing the land. I see you, black crown on your head, melting millions of lives into nothing but memories. I see the King of Sarkas enslaving all peoples everywhere. No! No! You have killed enlightenment, Buldrock's. You have made an irreparable mistake. But you need not feel remorse nor pain, for I am here and I forgive all. Buldrock's tries to roar one last time, but the rage is frozen in his throat. He stretches his claws towards the black-crowned figure, but they, too, freeze in midair. Salvation has come. Which is the other word for the, things. We have despair. Don't we have despair, salvation, and stasis? For the ending thingies? Like the 3 ending choices? And if stasis was ending 2, this is salvation, the next one should be despair. I'm expecting to see now despair on ending 4. Sunyata, or emptiness. And Dristi, or wisdom. Yatra, or journey. Vimukti, or answer. That one was mostly like Amia only appeared at the very end to be like, no. The Enlightened and the King of Sarkas meet, centuries after the last obsessed in Lokathatu saw the light. The sides of the slope path of Katsidi are still covered in green, but the curious tourists and devoted pilgrims are both long gone. The chanting and debates amidst the viharas have ceased, and the fire dharmapalas are nowhere to be seen. Even the thunderstorms in the distance have ceased, and there is only oasis as far as the eye can see. At the end of the long slope of soil and stone is a tranquil lotus pond. Pearl white lotuses bloom within, their numbers beyond the billions, gently filling the air with a sweet scent. Ashoka trees sway gently by the pond, golden rays shining through their verdant leaves. All is peace in Katsidia, with only the heavy ringing of the bells emanating from the great white bell tower into the distance. The Enlightened and the King of Sarkas sit in the tranquility. This is not the first time they have met. In the Lokathatu beyond, it was always the King of Sarkas who spoke first. Does the salvation of the land lie in emptiness? She asks. The girl is wearing a black veil, her ragged white dress decidedly out of place with the surroundings. This is an interesting start. She's right at the start. They're having a debate, or well, the discussion. This is impurity. There's bliss. Quilon the Enlightened does not answer the King of Sarkas' questions directly. His eyes are slightly closed, the cerulean flame behind him burning brightly. When all is empty, there is no longer sorrow. King of Sarkas mutters beneath her veil, her words soft yet thunderous. But can there be bliss when all emotions are gone? A drop of dew forms upon the branch of an Ashoka tree, reflecting the two figures sitting opposite one another, the pond of lotus and the sceneries of Katsidia. Impermanent as the morning dew, fleeting as the blink of an eye, the cerulean flame behind the Enlightened continues to burn bright. His brows are relaxed, seemingly unperturbed by the King of Sarkas' question. This land, this city are not morning dew, and the proof of people's existence is more than just the blink of an eye. There's a ripple in the lotus pond, billions of white lotuses floating up and down with it. If bliss is to be fleeting, then I will mark this land by this fleeting moment I witness. The King of Sarkas picks up a single white lotus, which blooms and emanates a sweet scent in her hand. King of Sarkas murmurs a sermon, and the billions of petals close back onto themselves, into a bud yet to blossom. She holds the bud before their chest, and a black fruit emerges from her palm, absorbing the lotus and its remaining scent. I must do this, Katsidia is King of Sarkas. I see. Even the Enlightened cannot help but sigh. His cerulean flame flickers and the light begins to dim. So the myriad souls of Sarkas have long arrived at an answer. The same black crown appears atop both of their heads. The karma this crown imposes upon me is simply to preach the path of enlightenment. I thought that nirvana could be achieved if people were no longer obsessed with their own existence. My obsession thereof has prevented the liberation of this land. But fate has brought you here, which means that the karma of the myriad souls is predetermined and the realms born of their words infinite. And so my obsession too is emptiness. The visage of the Enlightened relaxes again, and the cerulean flame behind him once again burns bright. The black crown floats quietly above his head. I have entrusted the path to someone else. The myriad souls cannot find deliverance on their own, that the day of resolution will come nonetheless through their discourse. When that time comes, you will need no longer seek salvation in every story. But though both you and I see our own karma vivid and clear, the cycle of cause and effect is exhausted. I can no longer deliver you. The Enlightened sounds almost apologetic, as he bows slightly to the King of Sarkas opposite him. There's no need to apologize. You've done all you could for this land, but the duty of salvation should not fall upon another's shoulders. Perhaps the day of resolution will come. Perhaps his path will deliver all the lands. But until that day comes, I will not give up on seeking salvation. Even if I have to walk this land 1 billion times, even if I must add yet more sorrow to my collection, I'll find the ending I seek, one filled with kindness. Indeed, here also trying to figure out someone who's saying what. The lion sits upright, as he did in the Lokat Hatu beyond. He closes his eyes, the cerulean flame behind him still burning bright. It is well. The eternal light illuminates Katsidia, where the king of Sarkas, dressed in ragged white, remains by the lotus pond beneath the Ashoka trees. Heavy sound of the bells once again rings from the great bell tower. This time, however, it does not reach into the distance. Lokat Hatu is empty. Here I'm trying to figure out who's saying what. Because obviously inline sounds almost apologetic as he bows slightly to the king of Sarkas opposite him. And then obviously there's no... So this should be Amia speaking. I guess this is all Amia. Up like from here to here, I guess it's all Amia. These part 4 ones with all the Buddhism and everything really are like the most difficult to understand. They're like, huh? freaking nirvanas and Sanskrits and philosophy and whatever. And then our final part. Little Amia. Little Amia was separated from her parents. Their caravan was caught in a skirmish with elite soldiers from the allied nations on one side and on the other, Sarkas? People had not seen the Sarkas for a very long time. They believed to be wiped out following Kazdal's destruction, or so the official narrative claimed. But who would have thought there would be Sarkas here? Amia was dozing on the back of a burden beast when the sound of artillery fire caused it to break free from its restraints and bolt in fear. She held onto the reins for dear life, but at the end she was thrown off its back. Lost in a forest and unable to find her way, Amia was gripped by fear as the relentless artillery fire boomed around her. Terrified and disoriented, she instinctively picked a direction and started walking. After a while, she encountered an injured Sarkas. All Sarkas are devils, said the adults. But all Amia saw was a woman with pink-white hair and long horns. The only thing unusual about her was the little black crown floating above her head. Hello? Are you okay? The Sarkas looked up at Amia and nodded, but she was in bad shape, her white dress dyed red with blood. Amia wanted to try to stop the bleeding, but hesitated out of fear. She took shuffling steps forward, gauging the Sarkas' reaction. Seeing that she remained still, Amia kept walking until she reached her and saw the terrible wound. Does it hurt? It was the Sarkas who spoke first, looking at the scrapes on Amia's arms with a concerned expression. Amia shook her head and tried to say something. She wanted to treat the Sarkas' sword wound, but didn't know how. In the end, all she could do was put her own hand on top of the Sarkas' hand that was pressing against the wound. Trying to console her, Amia did not notice the soldiers approaching, crossbows and wands raised. They had long forgotten how many of their kin they accidentally killed while hunting the Sarkas. To them, any act of kindness towards the Sarkas was an unforgivable sin, even if it came from a child's gentle nature. Virginia darts and bolts flew towards them. In the face of impending death, Theresa pulled Amia into her embrace. May you become the hope. Pure light emanated from Theresa and covered the entire area. Amia felt something go through her chest. It should have hurt, it should have bled, just like the Sarkas before her, but her chest did not hurt at all. All she felt was a warm stream flowing into her heart. She felt warm and sleepy. So this is how it happened in this universe. When Amia woke up again, she found herself in her parents' arms. The burn beast had been found and she was safe. It should have been a good thing, but where did the Sarkis lady go? She looked around and saw nothing. The artillery fire had ceased and the adults were talking about the light in the forest and the soldiers who disappeared, but she heard no word of the Sarkis. Bells sounded, reins were raised, and the machines rumbled to life. The caravan set out again. All had their eyes forward, hoping for a better future after the war. Ami alone looked back at the silent forest. Goodbye. The burden beasts carrying Ami slowly disappeared from the horizon. This was the last time anyone ever said goodbye to the Sarkis. They were met by sword, by arrow, by death. Their numbers dwindled even further after the fall of Kazdal, and they were never again able to form any kind of society until the end. And when the last Sarkis head rolled, the Sarkis, along with their past glory, was no more. With their common enemy destroyed, the allied nations once again fell into their own squabbles, going at the throats of their former allies with even greater fervor than they had killed the Sarkis with. The lasting peace many had hoped for never materialized. It wasn't many years later that they remembered the Sarkis again. It was obvious, wasn't it? As long as the Sarkis still existed, they had a reason to forge peace and join forces again. And so they chose a place to grant the name Sarkis. When there was no one left to kill there, they made another place Sarkis. Starting with countries on the fridge, moving on to larger and more powerful nations, and finally dividing their own kin into classes. An unending cycle of branding and killing. But unity and justice would continue to exist as long as the Sarkis did. A never-ending war of Sarkis killing Sarkis. The Sarkis have entered their own epoch of tragedy. I love the human condition. I love the human condition. Also, they didn't actually mention despair at any point specifically. Now I'm slightly disappointed. It is, however, also like it's super on the nose. Like they're not being subtle with, you know, what this entire passage is about. Where it's just fucking humans, man. The most subtle commentary on war and violence. And yeah, obviously this is indeed how, in this timeline, Amiya got the crown. Man. I mean, very much all of these truly are, like, disparaged. And then it's only here, which is, you know, our sort of canon ending. Where, I mean, everything obviously. First of all, just, you know, as the concept, it's not like, I feel like it's not like the most unique concept. I feel like I've seen something similar before somewhere. But obviously just the concept of our cosmic little bunny going around, ending and stopping every timeline out there. But then also where it essentially stops, where for example, when you read the actual ending from the play button, you know, the one you actually get when you finish the run, that ending on Amiya, this Amiya spotting Doctor, like our Doctor, that sort of last final piece of hope. And then indeed we see that, you know, in our timeline things have gone significantly differently, and the point of change, the pivot point for everything Sorry, I just had a brain blast. The pivot point for everything is Doctor being with Amia. However, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. Wait. Linchpin the Star Killers. Linchpin the Star Killers. I was a pivot. You were a linchpinner. Ah! I'm losing my mind. This damn song, man. The reason I might have used the term pivot, and maybe that, however, came from this. It might have been implanted. It might have been inceptioned into my vocabulary through this. Clipping the mic, yep. But it's just because it's just like, well, Doc is pivot. Priestess is the linchpin. Which actually, what is the exact definition of a linchpin? Central cohesive source of stability and security. Person or thing that is critical to a system or organization. Or just a pin inserted through an axle tree to hold a wheel on. You know, whichever one. Holy heckers. It's just a really cool conceptual story, and then they also just wrote it quite nicely. There's so many like bits when you're actually reading through these. Just really cool passages, really cool lines. Is Linchpin Def explained in the ARG? I mean, possibly. Maybe they have their slightly altered version of what Linchpin means. Yeah, imagine this animated. Of Endmia. Administrator? Oh? Of Endmia going around, well, not because it's not snuffing out. That's the thing, it's not snuffing out. She's pausing all of the stories. Because, you know, the whole thing is that she's hoping to... She pauses everything in hopes that there will, at some point, she will find the solution. Have I received a ping? I cannot watch this right now. And no way, Endermin is Endermia. Wait for her to pause our whole main timeline. I think she doesn't want to pause our main timeline because Doc is there. Our pivot point is there. Yeah, absolutely, Bucko. I mean, because, well, she herself, right? I mean, in her, like, even here, indeed. Where is it? Is it? Yeah, it should be here. Like, even she herself, you know, questions. Is this one? Is this one? No, it's not this one yet. It's this one. Or, like, she questions the moralities of it. Where the heck is it? What the heck was it? Was it closer to the end? Oh, yeah. Here. is robbing one of their future a form of killing, but if there's nothing but death in that future, is it salvation instead? Like, she is even questioning her own methods, essentially, or where she ends up, you know, going, right? Because, yeah, and then, you know, she, like, has to essentially ignore it. Like, she has to ignore the question, her own question. Because she has to be decisive. Some good stuff. Also terrifying, however, you know, just like Endmia as a concept. Well, it kind of starts blending with the main story, but I mean, we'll see. I have to see it obviously later on just exactly how much it will truly blend. But for sure, I mean, it's just like one of those, like, I wouldn't quite, I don't want to put it into like a necessary reading yet. I would more so put it into like recommended reading. Because there is so much little bits that you can extrapolate then to main story stuff. And also, I mean, it's just also a cool read. Like, it's just a cool read. But yeah, because I'd be surprised if it really becomes like mandatory reading, you know? It's like, I mean, it's very much like many of the events. There's a lot of events which like add to the full picture, but if you need to be like really frugal with what you read, then are not like necessary. Yeah, I think the observers are even outside of that. Though, I mean, except for the part where, well, seemingly for the furnace, they are beyond their understanding. But for Endmia, seemingly, she might actually be aware. Because, you know, she's warning specifically about them opening the sky and everything. Which would then hint at her, at least to some extent, knowing that there's something bad out there. But I think for the Revenants, I think indeed it is just stuff above them. Very much all that stuff, anything to do with observers, is that's real fucking out there. That is like, there's fucking 3 people in the world that know about that shit. Well, I mean, Endmia says it as much. And she literally says, like, I have seen the end of what you're doing right now. Like, she was aware of, like, I've seen what happens when you guys open the sky. Yeah, it's in the second one, yeah. It's in part 4 of ending 2. The instant the sky is ripped open, this place will be connected to... Is it earlier? Was it earlier? It was earlier. This land will be doomed the moment you open it up. Yeah, like, she has clearly indeed seen. Is there more here as well? They are not ready, and your choice will only result in destruction of everything on this land. I've witnessed different choices all leading to this tragedy. Very, very directly, like, different choices, same tragedy. Also, yeah, Celestial Fulcrum mention. I think Endmia is actually, yeah, like a form of cosmic horror. Unless you're speaking about more like, I guess, the Observers. Which absolutely are. We don't know much about the Fulcrum yet, no. Because we get to learn more about the Fulcrum. Masses Travels? No, wait. Oh no, I'm mixing up Celestial Fulcrum and the Law, which has a different name. What's the other name for Law? Is it Celestial Fulcrum? No. What's the one for the Law? Oh, what happens? Yeah, the Observers and everything around them is yeah, that's very much, I feel like, a form of cosmic horror, yeah. What was the name for the Law? There's the other name for the Law. What the fuck was it? I feel like it's similar to Celestial Fulcrum. Yeah, Celestial Fulcrum is indeed something different. And yeah, indeed, Celestial Fulcrum indeed does seem to be something that only connects once the pod is away. What was the Celestial Fulcrum again? We do not know much about the Fulcrum yet. Only from here we learn. So from Preserver and PV4, we learned that Celestial Fulcrum is like essentially uncontactable. Like it's in the list, it's in the database, but it in no form can be connected. And then from here we clearly learn that Celestial Fulcrum activates once the star pod is out of the way. It's the PCS, Personal and Cognitive Synchronization System. I feel like I remembered it having a name similar to, you know, Civil et Eterna, Celestial Fulcrum, and so on. I just remember having like a similar name. And yeah, clearly it's indeed not on Terra, at least to some extent. So, and I mean, it makes sense it would not necessarily be on Terra when it's called Celestial Fulcrum. It has to be like, you know, Celestial, it's somewhere up there. And then, well, Fulcrum is like a physics thing, you know. The point or support on which a lever pivots. Pivots are back! Pivots are back! Oh, it can also be an agent through which vital powers are exercised. Maybe it is just called the Law, and it didn't have another name. It should be it's in the PV4 somewhere. PV4. Arknights PV4. In the spot, is it PV4 or is it PV3 where here at the very start we have the list of stuff. Oh no, I was probably thinking of Cerula Arbor as like the similar name, because obviously we have Cerula Arbor as well. Because yeah, then here's Celestial Fulcrum. It's Preservator, Cerula Arbor, then Celestial Fulcrum. This is just Celestial Fulcrum cut off. Is there more? And then this one, which is fucking impossible to read. Architectural something? Yeah, Cerula Arbor is Seaborn and stuff, yeah. Dog. Is that architectural something? I don't think the Observers are killed off, by the way. There's a reason why they're still like seemingly a threat. Yeah, like Desi oh yeah, it's Desi something. I guess it actually probably is a D. It's Desi something and then like Exp something. Exp something ease. Very difficult to read. Oh, the doctrine. Oh, doctrine. Yeah. Typo. expertise, or is it? Could it be decisional expertise? Maybe. Do better at it. I mean, well, they're all like, you know, difficult to read, and some of them are like we can read them because we also already know what they are. Though this one is like the hardest to read. Some of these letters are like all fucked up. Transformers is kind of so real. It is difficult to read. It is difficult to read. What if I like PV4? Well, obviously it goes to, you know, AR. Maybe the ARG has something on it, but probably not. Telescope. Okay, here's storage use official. Here, okay, yeah, here's some of the stuff. Rare computer screen display. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Eyes of Priestess, local, self-full, handshake fail, right? Self-full, celestial fulcrum. The administrator, question lacks authentic engine, cannot change. Preservator, Cerulean Arbor, remember, celestial fulcrum. Celestial fulcrum, yeah, and it's Desi Expa Ease. Indeed, it's unreadable. No one has been able to figure out what the fuck it says. Which obviously, I mean, this could be the name for the law, but I guess it also had a different name. But this could also be like the, you know, code name or whatever for the law. I mean, just Desi is very, I don't know, it's like, I don't know. But Desi's like 10, isn't it? Yeah, it's 10. Despacito. No way. Oh, no, it's separate. No, never mind. It's here separately. Okay, yeah. PCS is here separately. If this is that thingy. 2 more new documents. And then something that doesn't have a name. Oh, I did see Cookie was indeed actually live again. He has been gone for a bit, hasn't he? I wonder if I actually have... How much does actually the... Should we pivot to ARGs? Like, how long are these? We can kind of go through these quickly, however. I could possibly, however... I'm wondering if we have a long movie today to watch with my friends, so there could also be reason for me to do, like, hop off slightly early. We're gonna watch the Robert Pattinson Batman, and it's a 3-hour-long movie. PCS was a link for the site before Massive Travels. Well, I mean, it might be the thing, so... Me and playing CC? No way. No way. Me? Never. And yeah, Anya connects to the lore through her crown. Or, like, something along those lines, which, yeah, is at the end of See You Soon when she starts speaking to Pope Man. Pope Mans. It's not like these are super long, but it would be nice to actually go through them like slightly more detailed. I was looking at the time, like I think it would take me an hour at least to go through these in like proper detail. Especially for fucking ARG 3. And then to also like talk about them and whatnot. So we might save them for another time. The only monster. That's it. Oh, the only monster is your mind from PV whatever. Rumor has it that if you get max points, you get to see the ending of this game. No way. Yeah, I feel like, cause yeah, like I said, I could possibly even end slightly. I have because I have notifications because obviously I posted the whatever. I posted the funny what's it now? Funny what's it now? I'm just going back to main menu on game. We can also put shop music on. Oh, 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 boop. Ending 5, how there was IS5 lore stuff though? Incredibly cool. What about doing ending 4 again? Terribly. No, absolutely not. Put the tunnel iceberg bit on the part on, or is a perfect summary of the first RGs. I guess yeah, there is that, because obviously we lost one of the summary videos for the ARGs when Renegade's account got hacked. They had a 30-minute video on the ARGs, or at least one of them, but it was lost to time because he did not keep the files of all his stuff. I believe he didn't have the space to necessarily keep them, but like you really should keep your like originals, you know? You really should keep your originals. I mean, it'd be a good idea, I must say. Oh my god. I opened Twitter. 18 notifications. I'm feeling Priestess fans and I'm being sure don't fuck with us Priestess fans, we don't even play the game. I feel like this, I really do wonder, I genuinely do wonder how many of the Priestess fans actually read all the stuff instead of just like, you know, the bits and pieces. What? Me when I ignore a character once because the pretty lady is murderer? Using a tachyon gif for this oddly fitting two amazing characters being both the dummy mummy under a waifu. I didn't even realize that, but I did like the tacky gif. See, I don't care about this part. I don't care about this part, but I don't subscribe to this particular reply because it's not about taste or anything. There's people like even people be like arguing in there. Si complementa de acuerdo. Why have you replied to me different? What did he say? Completely agree. I'm getting quote retweets. Someone quote retweeted me in, I'm not sure what language. It was like Spanish or something. I was like, I don't understand. It was, what was it? Oh yeah, here. Find it funny to complain about a character's fandom without considering that it might be the writer's fault. Which I cannot yet. I would, if I had already gone to read chapter 15, I probably would have dunked on this. But I'll hold off. Because... Also, yeah, I mean, first of all, yes, this priestess image is just fucking everywhere now. Like, I mean, it's impossible to avoid this particular image of priestess. Like, true though. Okay, what's going on? What's going on here? Lesser priestess fan, like most others, are more of a, I prefer Doctor Oracle X priestess, the actual life that spent time with this, they live in the same civilization. See, well, I mean, because I don't have preferences about any kind of something X something. I mean, I know I did not put nuance into my tweet, okay? I did not put nuance into my tweet of my full thoughts of like what I think about also the whole waifu vor aspect of it. I did not put that into the tweet, so it's understandable that people talk about that part of it as well. But like that's also like not, you know, like it's like that is like my lowest tier concern with that stuff. So like, also I pretty much like, other than like this one, the reply that I did do, also I'll say the comments are proving the point. Alright, there's not a fucking waifu war, please. See, Minerva knows what's up, but Minerva is a viewer on the Discord and so on. So, you know, master shipper. Yep, that's me. That's me. This, however, did get like good. This is nothing about like the waifu war part. It's just that what has Priestess been boiled down to by her fans. And yeah, I genuinely do wonder about this one, where it's like, do they? Do they? I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they do. Who knows? Is it doing numbers though? If only I had Twitter Blue, I could be farming engagement even more. But it's sometimes funny going onto Twitter and then seeing a bunch of notifications. I have not received this like many notifications in such a short amount of time, other than fucking mentioning Priestess. Maybe I need to start doing this. Maybe I need to start rage baiting people with Priestess or whatever. Is this rage baiting? It's not even rage. It's a little rage baiting. It's just a little bit. It's not rage baiting, but it is baiting. It is baiting. It is baiting, for sure. I'd read most of the story and I'm still a PRTS fan doesn't make me an Ian can't read. Possibly. But it's maybe like can't read between the lines. I don't know. Well, because I mean, once again, I don't even want to give like some form of final judgment on PRTS or Priestess until I've read chapter 15. It's kind of a big fucking deal. It's hard to make an actual full-fledged take on the character themselves before chapter 15. Unless you like, I mean, you can obviously we have bits and pieces of Priestess and so on, and you can like read between the lines and so on, and like fill in some blanks with either imagination or good guesses on other bits and pieces and reading between the lines. And I feel like that's a big reason why, you know, many of the Priestess fans are what they are. Because, you know, in a way, you know, just going off of this, no, not these, not you guys, not you people. It's because it's a quote retweet, it's not the replies. Kind of a thing that goes along with this is indeed the fact that, well, Ian can't really have read the story yet. And obviously the thing is, chapter 15 is probably might not even be the end of it. Unless it is, who fucking knows? Do not tell me. But for some reason, I imagine that somehow in chapter 15 is not just the entire end of the whole Priestess saga. I feel like it'll probably go further, but who knows, considering chapter 16 is going back to Ursus. I don't know. I need chapter 15. That's all it is. I need chapter 15, man. I need it. Now. They keep liking my post. They love me. Look. Since we started looking at this, we have gained another 6 likes. We baiting. Get into the sarcophagus till October. I wish. I wish. Anyway. Go spread my tweet. So I get some ego hits. I probably will not be like replying to much anything in there. I'll unless like something gets out of hand. I don't think I'll just let it live its own life. I'm getting tired of Orsa's act before she does one random comeback. Who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? When do we get episode 15? I think it's like October-ish. It should be. Probably not in September yet, but yeah. Because we have El Banana event. No wait, we have El Banana, which starts next week late. Then that's 2 weeks. So that ends. El Banana event ends 11th of September. Then we have another 2-week event. So then like very end of, I mean, either very end of September or early October should be chapter 15. Because next week, in a week, we have Iblana event. Then we have Icebreaker games, which are both 2-week events. And after that, I think it should be chapter 15 then. Icebreaker is really right before chapter. It's so that we have like a cooldown period for story right before. I don't know. That's just how they did it. Well, it's because originally chapter 15 had to release right before Massive Travels, and then they had an event, you know, like the original schedule. I wonder if I do anything with the co-op. Maybe we do a little bit in the co-op. I did not touch the previous co-op event at all, by the way. Not like a single bit. Didn't touch it at all. No touchings. Maybe we touch it this time. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, yep, my tweet is doing numbers. Now, however, now this is just the I worry possibly about their alliances or whatever, but this is a good tweet just in general because it's just telescope lyrics with screenshots from the episode. Telescope is the priestess song. The lyrics for that, by the way, are really good, and surprise fit the situation quite well. God, my zoom is all fucked up because I have to zoom in so that it actually stuff is visible on stream. Also, yeah, Ebby has been having like the most insane PC like issues. She's been distorting for like I think over like a week now at this point. About her PC being broken in some weird way, like weird ass crashes. Icebreaker was to have the CM players lower their guard. Real. True. It was like, haha, have you know, a funny gameplay only event. And no, we're not touching players, Shango. We're only touching the event, okay? It's an inanimate object, it's fine. Unless, of course, we go the Tobo route and start arcing people. Then you could classify it as touching others, but it's touching others with, like, violence. You know, it's like with bullets. Or did she actually get it fixed now? Yeah, I think I did see that she might have actually gotten it fixed. Oh, is it crashing because of lads? For some reason, I thought at one point I thought it was. Oh no, no. What I saw was that she had to start logging into Genshin on her phone so she could keep getting pulls for Dottore in Genshin. But okay, it was lads that was killing the PC. Okay, I understand. I understand. The cable management. Mine inside the PC is actually okay now. It could be better down below the desk though. It is a bit chaotic down there. I've tried to tie stuff up and whatnot, but then when you have a standing desk, they also need to be able to like actually move, which does make it slightly more difficult to like tie them down very cleanly and nicely. Especially when they're not like, they could, like some of the cables could be longer. Then especially. Yeah, something like a cable canal would be. I still need, I think, somewhat long. For some of them, I just need longer cables. Some of my cables, I think for some of my monitor cables and stuff are just, when I'm on the standing height with the desk, they're like at the very limit. Like they're very much so, like pretty much stretch as much as they can. So I need like longer cables. Is the thing. But okay, I think I'll sign off for today. Good reading, however, for IS5 lore. I will actually... I'll raid Kuki, except he doesn't allow me to raid him on YouTube. He does not have raids on YouTube open, so... Tell him to put them on. I can raid him on Twitch. He's usually not live when I end. But I cannot raid him on Twitch because he's a... For some, the guy does not have them open. This guy. So for YouTube, we'll say, I mean, I obviously can grab just his, or you can just go, you can on YouTube if you want to, you can manually go to his channel and be like, hello, put your YouTube raids on. Is Pixel Tree live? Was he? Was he? I don't think he is. Was he? He might have been. I think he was live earlier. I think he finished now. Yeah. So instead, we'll do what I just said. That'll be on YouTube side, on Twitch. So I mean, I'll end the YouTube stream already, and then I'll put the Twitch raid going. So thank you for coming, thank you for watching, thank you for chatting, thank you for lurking, and next week should be normal-ish streams. We'll see what we do. There's Olympus updates and there's Arknights updates. But then also I think I have a bunch of friends. I have friends who really want to play some like PoE on the weekend or something. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Or what happens tomorrow. When exactly will I get to play all the various stories and whatnot. But for the goodbye. Bye-bye, goodbye. Goodbye. Twitch, you're gonna go into the raid. You can also join Twitch raid, I guess, from Twitch YouTube if you want to. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, YouTube. Soon bye-bye.